It is. Ah.
No, not that.
All right. I'll see. I know. All right. So welcome to 51. That's 50. $52. That last week was
Can we count
many
that
numbers. Can't count that high. So the first topic, Jumptown. Again, also if there's an echo, I apologize. That is Streamlabs just. But at least I can spend
Damn it,
hours
Mark.
trying to fix it, but I don't think I can. Try going on push to talk and see if that's any better. So Jumptown 2.0 was extended, supposed to end Thursday last week. It got extended to yesterday. Was it 9 p.m. yesterday?
Yeah.
9 p.m. Eastern yesterday, so our time it was 9. Time may vary depending. Yeah, I think we, based on everything we said last week, I think still holds water. Like nothing really.
Yeah, not really. It was pretty much the same.
I did notice one thing different this time. Right after we both died yesterday, and decided to take a break for a few hours. Of course, I stayed on, and I went back to get my gear, and I came across seeing a bunch of guys running around on the ground doing FPS. But the thing is, they all killed each other. No survivor. Which was great for me because I landed and I just watched it from the air, landed, looted all of their gear, and noticed how my gear was spread across all of them. I got all my gear back, got some extra gear to boot, and then I just started loading crates onto my Pisces. Then someone blew up my Pisces. They came into the outpost, knocked me out as I was typing in chat. I got up, gunned them down at my FS9, didn't get a crime stat because they knocked me down first. And yeah, that was great. And he was a good sport about it. He's like, yeah, no, I was being an idiot. I went up against a guy with a gun, nothing but my hands. Oh, it's all good. You know, I hate you for whatever. Like you. I was typing, but how would you know that?
With magic.
It was fine. I started loading crates in the room again, anyways, because I knew a friend of mine was going to be coming in and picking me up. Yeah, then we loaded those crates onto a constellation. Were able to sell them with no problems for Alsar, and that was my last Jumptown. Yeah, for now. But everything we said last week, water and that, like, yeah, that was what I saw was an odd occurrence with the FPS. And that's mainly because the largest ship there at the time I saw the FPS action going on was an Avenger. You know, like a lot of the other people arrived in freaking single seat fighters, Gladiuses and like no one was like at that point. I doubt anyone was actually there to do the mission, there to kill each other and.
Honestly, that's most of what it was anyway.
Right.
Realistically speaking.
But that's the thing. It's like, yeah, there was FPS. So, you know, your argument from last week is invalid. No, because these guys weren't doing the mission. Like, people that are serious about doing the mission and everything aren't going to be bringing single seat fighters that can't carry any cargo. Like a Gladius or a Buccaneer.
Yeah, plus.
Yeah, they did that, and that was it. And then they all died. And I took, but I never retrieved my med gun though. I have like with that. That's the armor I was concerned with. Yeah, that was just that. Like you just again, there's no focus on ground combat, FPS combat.
Nope.
And you can tell.
Well,
like,
the problem was the mission itself was not conducive to playing it as FPS. Like, sure, as we encountered, here and there, sure, you might have like one guy camping on the inside, but okay, you're not like the interior of the structure, the surrounding area is terrible in terms of encouraging any kind of FPS combat. It's like you don't like if you were to have some turrets on there,
right,
the manable turrets.
Oh,
If
no,
you were to
there are
have
manable turrets though.
what's that?
There are manable turrets.
Are there? I didn't see any in my
there's
running
like
around.
2 or 3 of them on the roof.
Oh, well, that's fine. I
You
don't
can
know
clamber up there.
Even still, that's a fucking terrible position. But I go back to again, entirely not made. Like they might say, "Oh, we want FPS combat," but it's like if someone goes, "We want this level to be FPS combat," and it's just a huge hallway with a door on one end, and all your enemies are sitting on the other side of that door, shooting anyone who pokes their nose through. It's like. And you can't even get down the hallway to like chuck a grenade or something in there. You can say you want FPS combat all you want, but you are heavily you were heavily discouraged by the actual gameplay that would be involved of trying to play it as an FPS. Whereas if I take a tank and shoot it into the back of the room and kill everyone there, or I drop a bomb or something, there you go. That's going to be much more conducive to actual gameplay. And generally speaking, what did people do? They would drop a fucking bomb, or they would go and blow up all the ships. With someone would bring an Ares or an Ion, just fucking strafe all the ships and then fly off, and that was it. It's not an FPS level. Anyone saying otherwise is fucking stupid, in my opinion.
Nah, it really isn't. And it sucks too because the original, you and I, as we said last week, you and I have taken the original Jumptown just only using FPS. It was great. Like the fact that we're able to do that, like we're able to just take it, stealthily on foot, sneak in. Granted, there's no sneak Jumptown because of
the
single door, which is an airlock. So every time you open it, you're essentially telling someone, "Hey, I'm opening this door. Feel free to shoot."
Yeah. And again, it's really not conducive in any way to playing it as an FPS. Like they might have wanted to see, and according to them, they're like, "Oh, we want to be seeing, orgs trying to go and wrestle control of it, and trying to emulate the original Jumptown." But if that was the goal, in my opinion, it failed miserably. Because because it's like, if you want certain gameplay, you have to say, I want X. What will encourage players to do X? Not just say, well, I want X and I expect everyone to do it because I said so. No, what will encourage players to do X?
Well, here's the thing. To their at least devil's advocate, they were probably thinking, look, the monetary gain would be the reason, right?
Well, the problem is, if you actually go and play the situation out all the way, you don't get money. If you're in this, so let's say, for example, let's say that you've got 2 decently sized orgs. So let's say you've got 2 orgs of like 10 to 20 people each. So you've got a bunch of people. Cool. They're both fighting over Jumptown. Yeah, sweet. You got this emergent gameplay. They're both trying to take over, all that kind of good stuff. Cool, okay. However, that would mean then that you're going to have most of your forces are going to be pew-pewing, right? You're going to have like 2 people actually going and moving the boxes, and even then, hey, there's a fucking starfare sitting there on the ground. I'm not going to care about shooting the I'm not going to care about shooting the guys who are flying the ships. I'm going to just try to kill that fucking starfare. Fuck that guy, right? And it's like the end result is that, and even, you know, let's say they don't know, you've got, you know, everyone's bringing a ship that can hold cargo. Cool, okay, fair enough. At the same point though, the amount of money, again, if we're talking about money being the driving factor, you're going to make far less from that than you will going into doing a conga line. Even if you've got 7 or 8 people there, or even, you know, at 20 people, sure, okay, but even still, even at 20 people doing a conga line, you're still going to be making more than you would with 20 people duking it out, to where no one's getting anything because no one's able to get away with the loot. It's like from what it seemed, they did not want, they wanted fighting, which, and it's like okay, that's perfectly fine. However, the way the event was structured was not conducive to fighting. Or, you know, at most it was conducive to someone flying with an A2 and fucking nuking the place. That's it. It's like you gotta actually go and work backwards from this of what is the result I want? How do I get there? Work yourself backwards. And like I said, if they wanted something akin to the original Jumptown of having this almost free-for-all duking it out kind of thing, the way they did it was terrible.
Oh, I totally agree. Because again,
The only people buying into that are going to be the ones who just want to gank people.
Right.
And it's like, okay, fair enough.
That's what we ended up getting. Like, how many times have we, and I know we are not alone because I've played with other, like our ally orgs and stuff like that. And how many times would people leave a server because Jumptown is not friendly or hostile? Like, how many times do people ask in the server, hey, is Jumptown? Because at the end of the day, like, the people that are playing and want to like actually do Jumptown for what it originally was intended as, to make money, right? Because that's what original Jumptown was.
Originally, it was a glitch, and people are only interested because they're like, "Hey, I'm making lots of money." People are going to do what makes them money.
Especially and when every other mission feels nerfed.
Oh well, and they nerfed gifts, which that still pisses me off, especially because everything in the universe has increased in price. Everything in the universe has increased in payout, but they see 1 or 2 streamers going, "Hey guys, I ground presents out for several hours and made like $1 million or so. I'm gonna nerf it in 3 days," while leaving every other fucking mission broke. Come on, that's fucking bullshit. Because like,
for those who don't know,
it'd be one thing if every mission was still working as intended, but when at the time, nearly every single mission you could do, bounty hunting, cargo, any kind of bunker mission, all broken, and they still swoop in immediately to nerf the fucking presents because I can't have people making money if we don't like it. Like, fucking hell. That whoever did that, you're a fucking dumb shit. Yes, I'll stand by that.
Okay, what if it's with us? Then feel free to call us names too.
Then you're a dumb shit. No, okay. But seriously, it's like the presents have always been worth 1,000. And this was back in the days when you weren't even losing your gear. And now that we are losing gear, wait, you mean people can quickly replenish their gear by picking up presents? Fuck those guys.
It would be the literal perfect Christmas present in Star Citizen. Ability to instantly get money to re-equip your gear.
It was not a fucking good move at all. Anyway, that aside, I will say this though, for Jumptown. Now I'm very much of the attitude that, hey, let's for like jump town, hey, let's conga line this shit. Let's all make some fucking money here. Now everyone wins, right? Except for the people who want to just go and like stab people in the back. But
You
for
guys have issues.
people who wanted a event that readily worked in favor of people who wanted to go and gank people, who just wanted to be able to swoop in with an A2 and blam and just see kill, instantly get that crime stat 5. For the people who wanted that kind of shit, or people who would go and like they would land a ship and set the self-destruct and laugh when they blew up everyone else's ship because of it. For people who were going for that, the event was pretty much picture perfect and playing into scenarios that would encourage it. Now, that being said, and I should know, like I said, I'm more in favor of conga lining this shit and everyone making money here. That being said, there should be events that play into everyone's playstyle. Whether or not I like that playstyle or not, there should be events that go and cater to everything. You should have a little bit of everything here. I hope a lot of everything. So there's always some amount of variety, something going on somewhere. Let's do that shit. But as it was, like I said, I don't know if that's what CIG intended and was looking for, but that was kind of what it evolved into being. A lot of people were conga lining that shit. People who disagreed were going and ganking, and that was pretty much it.
I mean, I love the idea of the conga because it reminded me of when we talked about this last week as well. But when we the helmet thing, the Vandal helmet, and everyone would just line up in front of like Gladius gun.
Yeah, all working together and being like, hey, let's all go and get this shit done.
Right.
Especially too, 50 unique player kills in 1 month.
Fucking be able to
especially when a lot of people can only play for like an hour or two at a time. I mean, come on, CIG. But like 2025 would have been okay. That would have been a lot more reasonable. As it was though, just holy shit.
Honestly, I would say that's still pushing it to 25, but
I mean that at least would be essentially like one a day with a few days in there. It's like if you're playing every single day, you get 1 kill a day.
Well, if we're talking about like doing the conga line stuff, yes, but I'm not talking
about no. I'm talking just if you're just if it's like you need 20 kills in 1 month to get blah. That would be a reasonable thing where you would not need to necessarily conga line that shit. Because then, like I said, if you're playing every single day, you're getting at least 1 kill a day, and some people are going to be getting more than that. Some people are going to play and you're going to get none a single day, and other days you might get 2 or 3 or something. That at least is doable. But 50, like you're talking that you'd have you playing every single day and getting 2 or 3 a day, every single day, or having days where you're getting 10 in 1 day, something like that, which you'd have to be playing for hours and hours, which not everyone can do. So conga lining definitely approved.
And it didn't help that again, like a lot of kills ended up being bleed out kills in my case.
Yep. I'm sure that they will have it offered again though at some point. You're probably gonna like have some guy running around a station. You hear about some mass murderer. You fly over there, and there's gonna be some guy running around who's wearing the mask. Like an NPC wearing the mask and holding like a fucking paper towel tubes taped together to form a so-called Vandal weapon, and they managed somehow to murder everyone else on the station, and they just like come charging at you, just like blam. That was it.
That'd be entertaining though.
That would be hilarious. But like, imagine some guy like that at like Kovalex or something, completely abandoned. This guy's the only one that's left, and he like thinks he's a Vandal or some shit like that. Like, finally went fucking space crazy or whatever we're gonna call it.
Hey, Victor. Victor's in our chat saying hello.
Our one and only fan.
Persistent in life.
Yes, we will need minions. I mean friends.
Wolza and the Venture Brothers, they're the perfect blend of immortal and expendable.
Yay.
The perfect henchman.
Why do they have to hench?
Because, want to bend over
I
and do all the
don't
hard
know.
work?
Oh no, but what?
Rather the
But
henchmen get
but
the
where
freaking,
where is henching involved? What
I
is
don't know.
henching anyway?
Enter not. But yeah, the jump town, it needs work. Again, it was. If that was what they were going for, the whole money thing to try to recreate the original.
Yeah, it failed miserably.
Callsign was right. They failed. They were not going to be able to recreate.
Well, they could have at least come somewhat close. Like for example, let's say if as soon as, or let's say that as soon as you pick up the box, you then have to do something with it for a couple of minutes, and then you just get the money. That would definitely be encouraging some amount of ganking there. Because if you did not have to turn the boxes into somewhere, if it was like,
more
if you're
instantaneous.
doing the legal one, you have to shoot the box. Let's say, for example, if you do the legal side mission, you have to set an explosive charge on the box that takes 30 seconds, and then the box explodes. No damage to anyone else, but it just it shows this little blinky thing on it, and then it explodes. And then
makes
if
the
you're doing
box
the
go
criminal
poof.
mission, you open up the box and fuck around with the contents, and then you get the money. Something like that, because also too, bear in mind both sides as well, both legal and criminal. The objective was take box, turn in box. So it's the same objective.
Sell to X location, identical. Which I don't have a problem with the asymmetrical. This way, no matter what you're doing,
if it was
the
asymmetrical, that would involve a lot more. If it was legal destroy, criminal turn in, sell, then
I understand why
you would have had a lot more conflict naturally.
Yes.
Just because the objective is diametrically opposed. One person wants to sell, the other person wants to destroy what you want to sell if you're a criminal. Or vice versa.
Yeah, but I think they wanted it so that this way you can do either version and not have to and still have the same gameplay.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. But that being said, it does mean that if you want conflict, having both sides, having two sides, and then having both sides being the same objective, really isn't going to go and do much.
If you want conflict. Honestly, I hated that. Again, I think last week you nailed it on the head with the whole we should have had turrets or something.
Yeah, well,
some kind of
if you had turrets,
turret
also too,
to shoot down missiles and stuff.
Imagine too. So one, just imagine if turrets were not hostile to ships, but they are hostile to any kind of munitions. So any kind of missiles, any kind of bombs, these turrets are going to go and fire at. Which means if I want to go and bomb the place, I got to take out the turrets. And then also too, it would be interesting if the turrets had their own. Next level of that would be if the turrets had their own faction loyalty system, whatever you want to call it, to where if you fire at them, all the turrets start firing at you. Because then it's not, I can't just let me go and burt the turrets and okay, they're all down. But that at least is still, it's adding additional layers to the game. Because then it's like, well, I can't just bomb it. I got to take out the turrets.
And
if I got to take out the turrets, I got to get close. Which means if there's a couple of fighters, they're seeing me coming in. And if you have 4 turrets, they see me taking out, shooting at the first turret. They're on my ass because they're like, hey, whoa, this is our money maker. We're going to go and defend it. But as it is, the gameplay really didn't support that.
Plus, can't imagine
unfortunately.
if, like, say, the turret would go, okay, we gotta take out those turrets, right?
Yeah.
That's where your ground gameplay can. Right, we'll send in a
No,
vehicle.
absolutely.
It
You
won't
could
destroy
have some
vehicles.
guys fly in on a Titan, or however you want to insert them. Have them fly in on a Pisces that's stealthed out from 5 kilometers away, run in with rail guns, pop the turrets all at once with the rail guns, and then have your bomber swoop. It's like you have your bomber on standby. All right, taking out the turrets in 3, 2, 1. Blam! Oh, missed the turret. Blam! Okay, turret's gone. Bomb, bomb, bomb. There you go. Now you're getting some gameplay in here. You're getting some emergent shit. And then as soon as the guys conga line that, they see the turrets go, shit, go, 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 go. You're actually getting some involvement here instead of just, bomb came in. You died.
Right.
Like, that's not very emergent, to my mind. But like I said, there should be events that cater to just about any playstyle. So in that sense, go for it. Because every other event really was just more of a criminal or good guy, bounty hunter kind of thing, but you're always working as a team. This Jumptown event really did go and you were more kind of lone wolfing things a bit. You could roll in with your org and try to hold it, but a lot of people are just soloing it, and there should be events that you can solo. Now, like XenoThreat, you could go and do that solo, or you could do it with a team. It really didn't matter because everyone who has the mission was getting money.
And I've soloed
So,
a ton of time, easily.
oh yeah,
Definitely the best.
it was a fun mission. It was a well done mission.
I've even soloed Ninetales. I mean, granted, you're not doing it entirely by yourself. You have the AI and other players. But I wasn't working with a team. I was just on my own in my freaking Aurora.
But yeah, so in terms of that, the event was I would guess was probably not what CIG wanted. However, I think in its current form, it still is viable as an event, and it could be made differently in the future if it wasn't what CIG wanted anyway.
I just hope that they make improvements. They take feedback from. Obviously, we should probably do a spectrum. But what we're saying.
I hope they do an after action review like they've done for. I know they did one for XenoThreat.
Right.
When it first came out, what went well, what didn't go well, what was unexpected, that kind of shit.
Here's hoping. Yeah, that's the problem. Is that I just loved how every other event you solo. Not everyone plays with a group. Not everyone wants to play with a group. That's completely fine. The whole idea that you can play the way you want is crucial, I think, versus. So, having that choice is terrific. Choice is gone. Not so much,
Your choice is no choice at all?
Hopefully we get some improvements to Jumptown 3.0 whenever it is. And I assume eventually we're let's face Jumptown. Not just we're gonna get XenoThreat 3.0, right?
Supposedly.
Supposedly it's in PTU.
It's in PTU currently, so we'll probably see it in the next week or two here.
Okay. I mean, again, XenoThreat is easily. Events I was pleasantly surprised when they initially Ninetales. Oh, new event. Good, it's a good event. So we get XenoThreat 3.0, which I imagine is just going to be the same as normal.
Probably. There might be a few
hopefully.
changes here and there, but
Well, no, because remember last time the payout wasn't.
yeah, I think they did change that. So
Hopefully
we'll
they
see.
don't nerf it again, or even more so.
Yeah, honestly, events should always be paying out a lot more than regular missions
You know, I
in
found
terms
out
of time
earlier
spent.
today, which was really player bounties, how they used to.
Yeah,
You know how much a cave bounty goes? You know, the ones where you kill NPCs
probably
in a
like
cave.
8K.
No. Cave bounties go for like 30,000.
Oh, oh yeah. Cave bounties do. Player bounties right now, they go for like what,
No,
8K?
player bounties. The best player bounty you're gonna get, which is a player who has a crime stat of level 5, is 30K.
So there's no point.
Might as well just do the cave ones. At least this way, when you're done with killing the bad guys, you can go mining afterwards and make even more money. That bothered me. What? Like, first off, you're going up against a player. That should already make it expensive.
Oh yeah, because you never know what they're gonna go and bring to it.
Or what their skill level is going to be a good
Yep.
player, or a fully decked out Hornet, or whatever it is, or they're going to be a guy in Aurora who somehow accidentally got a crime stat of whatever by killing NPCs. I mean, or they just enjoy killing NPCs when doing the bounty missions. Hopefully, XenoThreat pays well, especially again because now we have the inventory and looting mechanics as well as the whatchamface, the medical gameplay. We need something to kind of compensate for. Oh, you're losing your gear every 20 minutes. The stupid bugs.
You lost too many.
Oh, you lost gear because you decided to fly through the rings of Port Olisar. That's how I died earlier today. Like,
Alright, what else we got?
XenoThreat Alpha 316 overall thoughts. Oh no, this week in I'll prepare. All right, let's see. So this week in Star Citizen, obviously Monday this week Star Citizen. Tuesday we got the lore post Empire report. I guess it's gonna. Obviously, the lore posts are always like in-universe reports based on like in lore, in-universe things regarding lore. Like it's lore in lore, which I think is the best way to do. Wednesday, we've got the PU November and December monthly report, as well as the Squadron 42 November and December monthly reports. Which means next week we got a shit ton of Star Citizen content to talk about.
Yep.
But yeah, so we got the 2 months worth of monthly reports for both the Squadron 42 and for the PU, which means this will be the first major Squadron 42 update we've had since October.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any update.
Hopefully. Friday we got the subscriber vault update, and community update wise, they're doing a community MVP thing. Pretty much anything, fan art, cinematic, YouTube guide, what have or this. Cool things. I'll put the link in. I'll see in the description later. But yeah, that's what this week in Star Citizen. Really it, because they're just coming back now. No? Like what, they just came back?
Huh?
When's the Daymar rally?
I think was it last weekend or this weekend?
Last week. It was the 15th. But yeah, so that's really it in Star Citizen. Don't have much. So we go on to the non-Star Citizen.
Is there such a thing?
Have the I wrote down why am I sorry. So do you want to talk about the NFT bullshit or the Microsoft?
NFT's bad. Okay, next.
Screw that.
I mean, really, it's literally just a
what is an NFT for anyone who doesn't know? What is an NFT?
I mean, it's literally just a picture, and someone says the picture is worth a certain amount because they say it's backed up by something. What that something is, well, it's the company. So bear in mind too, the company that issues out an NFT goes under, well, guess what? Your NFT is worthless.
It's essentially, first off, what an NFT is essentially, like you're buying the, and you can't see this, but quote unquote, air quote, rights to an image. We're buying with real money the rights to an image,
and which only exists digitally. I mean, it's quite literally, it is quite literally the same thing as when people way back when, this was probably like 15, 20 years ago, but when people would go and be able to buy the rights, so to speak, for a star. And that, companies would go and issue out, here is your official certificate that you own this star, and it has a value because you hold this certificate, and here's your name on it, and blah, blah, blah. And as soon as that company goes under, it's worth nothing.
Yeah, I have one of those things. It's a nice little novelty, but it's absolutely worthless.
But it's all it is a novelty. And as soon as companies that back this shit, as soon as the companies that hold the blockchain go under, it's worth nothing. I mean, for example, Ubisoft goes and puts NFTs in their video game. Cool. Ubisoft goes under. Well, your NFT that you paid $20,000 for is worthless. It's nothing. It's always been nothing. It will always be nothing. Just because you can convince someone else that your pig shit is really gold, and maybe for a while they'll buy it, but it doesn't make it not a scam. Realistically, that's on the best side, by the way. On the worst side,
here's the thing. So when I was first learning what an NFT was, which was not long ago, how do I know? I was asking a friend who, like, okay, what is an NFT? And they explained it to me, and I go, so it's pretty much, how is this any different than me going to a store and buying a poster and then just doing whatever I want with that poster? And he goes, nothing, except that you can actually do something with that poster. This is just a digital image. And I'm like, okay, so this is absolute BS and bullshit scam. And he's like, yes.
Oh, yes.
And this guy does programming for a living.
Yeah, that being said, though, so on the worst, as I was saying earlier, on the worst end, so on the best end, an NFT is just a scam. On the worst end, NFTs are just a money laundering scheme that several organizations have convinced you to jump into. To where, you know, for those who don't know, so what is money laundering? You hear about it all the time, especially in like those crime dramas and shit. What is money laundering? So money laundering is where, let's say I'm an illegal organization, whether it's the mob or the mafia, whether I'm a drug dealer, whatever the case might be, I have lots and lots of money that I have no way of legitimizing. There is no way for me to say, oh, I like to the government, because the government keeps an eye on finances, especially the IRS, and they go, wait, where the fuck did this $100,000 or $100 million come from? You know, and they're going to go and start investigating you. What money laundering is so let's say if I'm selling drugs, you know, illegal drugs. You know, if you're selling cocaine or something like that. Whatever, yeah. And you're like, well, I've got to find some way to legitimize this money. Like you've heard about restaurants, like the old mafia using restaurants as a front for money laundering, because they could say, oh, the restaurant made, where's all this money coming from? Oh, it was tips, or it was money people paid at the restaurant, even though if you actually go to the restaurant, no one ever eats there. But they can claim it's income from the restaurant, from a legitimate business. Now I have a way to legitimize that money, and I can use that money. NFTs are the ultimate money laundering scheme, because I can go and just say, oh, this NFT is sold for $20,000, $100,000, and lo and behold, that $100,000 that someone just paid in cash, it's now legal tender. I now have a way to go and be able to say, oh, you know, they go, where'd you get all that money from? That's a suspiciously large amount in your bank account there suddenly. Oh, I made and sold this NFT. Okie dokie then. It's literally it. So no wonder you have a lot of organizations pushing it, because they're being told, hey, we'll give you a cut of this shit if you go and push this stuff, because we're going to be making all kinds of money. We'll let you in on a little bit of that.
It's also, again,
literally, yeah. I mean,
so
sorry, I'll just one last thing though.
Okay.
Like Ubisoft was saying, oh, they want to go and have, like, in their games, they want to have this platform that spreads between their games of NFTs. Like, oh, I have this one skin and it works in this game, but it also works in this other game, kind of thing.
Which I'm not sure is how it works, actually.
Well, but what it is that every time that NFT gets traded from one person to another,
they make money.
You know, they're going to take a percentage of it. So they're seeing it as essentially a DLC item that keeps making them money. They're not doing this to be your friend. They're doing this because they know it's going to make them money in the scammiest way possible. Because again, the thing is actually worth nothing. You can't go out and actually buy anything with it. All you can do is convince. It's literally like one of those mass marketing schemes, i.e. a pyramid scheme. Just you convince someone else to buy into the scam, and then you run away going, ha, got mine. Next person line does the same thing over and over and over again until eventually someone's left holding it and going, wait a minute, I can't get anything for this. And everyone else laughs all the way to the bank.
Oh, wait, I'm pretty sure
that's literally all NFTs are. It's a perpetual scam until the last person who gets scammed ends up with a worthless item, scammed out of all their money, and meanwhile, You're helping to fund all kinds of illegal organizations.
And also that's another thing too, is that this is more akin to trading stocks, by the way, than playing like, why is this in a video game? That's why this is a problem.
Because they're going to make money off of it.
Of course, well that's why. But like, that's the obvious reason. Like, why should this be? Why would this be? It shouldn't. That's the answer. But of course, yeah, it makes the money, and what makes the money means that it gets to be put in a video game. Ethics and legality be damned. Clearly, you know, all the loot box stuff, that's gambling, but EA seems to be doing fair with all the courts and stuff not getting their asses fined or whatever it is for having actual gambling in their games. So but it's interesting because a few months ago Steam was saying, look, we are not going to allow any blockchain
Any games that have NFTs, essentially, they're not going to allow
reportedly
it.
blend blockchain and NFT games, because the way this all works is essentially just like it's crypto-based currency. So here's an article that that is bad. Here you go.
How could you?
Valve is now allowing blockchain-based games, and this is in October last year, like 2-3 months ago, whatever it was. Or times relative.
How relative is relativity, though?
It's all relative. So yeah, Valve is saying, no. Got a screenshot of the Steam rules, and it's saying how no blockchain-based technology or cryptocurrency stuff or NFTs. None of that shit on Steam or in games through the Steam storefront. Steam's point of view is that items have value, and they don't allow items that can have real. They don't allow items that can have real-world value on their platform. So anything, which is honestly confusing and a lot of shit concerning how many games sell you a skin, which that skin doesn't have. Even if you're buying it and you get it in game, that skin doesn't have real-world value. The game itself does. The skin does not. That's my problem with monetization in gaming in general. It's just that none of it has value at all. Like a game has value. Stuff in the game does not. But anyway,
how dare you?
Here, essentially, let's just monetize an image. Such a scummy way. Like, you are getting a better.
I mean, it's not surprising though. Disappointing, but not surprising.
So here it is. I'll actually post the article in it. Major One says, "Hi guys, how's it hanging?" Low.
No.
Hanging low. Meanwhile, when right after the news came out that Steam was banning it, Epic comes out and says, "We're gonna welcome blockchain and NFT stuff," because of course they are. Epic is owned by Tencent, and they're all for money.
Yep.
In any way, ethics be. That's Steam, and then more recently, obviously Ubisoft with the Ubisoft Quartz did this whole NFT thing into Ghost Recon Breakpoint on PC. It's just you're implementing blockchain technology. You're essentially turning your game into stock trade, right?
Yep.
And
that's what they're trying to do.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that is what they're trying to do. I don't remember the head of. Yeah, it was the CEO of. Trying to find the article while I talk. It was the CEO of Square Enix. At the end of the year, was going on about how awesome this stuff is and how he plans to implement it and how it's going to innovate the games industry. I'll find it.
Gonna innovate his wallet. That's about fucking it.
Oh, that's probably where he's coming from. He's the fucking CEO. Of course he is.
It's like, yeah, the companies that go and they're like, oh, this'll be great. Yeah, for fucking them, not for you as a
I'm not
person who
finding it.
is, at minimum, if you aren't working for them, you aren't going to be profiting off of it.
I wonder if it took down the door. But obviously, and then we had well, anyway, I'll find it later. We also had Castlevania, right? The 30th anniversary or 35th anniversary, right? 35th anniversary of Castlevania. NFT collection.
Of course.
Because what better way to screw
It's
over
fucking
your
money
loyal
laundering with
fan
pictures.
base.
It's literally money laundering with pictures. That's it.
And it's using pictures to launder your money.
Yeah.
And
They
I
say,
love the idea,
oh,
like,
the
you're
picture is
selling, you're
worth
selling the
X.
exclusive rights to this image, right? Because that's what it is. Rights to an image. Whatever the fuck that really means. Yet
It means nothing.
it
literally means
nothing.
It's a digital item. There is no one. If it was if what was being sold was like statuettes or something physical, that's one thing. But this is all digital. There is no physical.
No,
It's
look,
a
I just pressed
fucking
F12
lie.
to bring up the freaking like URL page in console. I can just take the image from this. And if that's too confusing for anyone, then I can just right click on any image I see.
Yeah, it's literally just someone trying
right click,
to pretend.
open image, a new tab. Bam! I now have the gamesindustry.biz logo. It's really that fucking simple.
It's just people, companies, trying to pretend that a digital item is exclusive. Well, I mean, digital items can have value, but they're trying to pretend that it's exclusive. It's like if you were to have, for example, as video games have often done, if you were to go and be like, hey, I went and bought the collector's edition of Fallout New Vegas, and it came with these playing cards, and there was like the platinum chip that it had,
right,
and a comic book. That's all physical stuff that could have real value. Down the line, someone could be like, oh wow, I'm a huge fan of Fallout and I want to have all the memorabilia for it. I'm going to go and buy that off of you because that is a physical item. There is no physicality with a picture. Anyone can just go and right click save. You so much as display the image on the screen, it's no longer yours. Anyone trying to pretend otherwise is literally trying to scam you.
What was that line in The Princess Bride? Life is pain, and Wise is trying to sell you something. In this case, not wrong. Wesley, not wrong. But yeah, no, it's scummy. It's essentially, how can we nickel and dime the player more? Here's how. That's essentially what I got.
Or less. Again, it's literally just you make a picture because I mean, like for example, you've seen the picture of like apes. That's one of the big NFTs that always gets thrown around the news, and it's literally just it's the same base image, and the guy like this one has a cigarette, this one has a hat, this one has a necklace, and then just mixing and matching all that. It's like there's literally nothing different with any of them.
I didn't realize that was a.
Yeah. And the guy literally just draws like this one has a different hat, and I'll sell that one for 2,000. This one has a hat and a necklace. Oh, so
wrong. These guys are making two.
I mean, it's literally just a fucking scam. But the thing of it is, not everyone's gonna buy it, and I will say it's perfectly fine for you to not take our word for it. At the same point, though.
Well, that's why I say
like you can't say that we didn't tell you so. Yeah, I found a bunker. I'm playing Fallout right now.
Always a good.
I found a bunker with a whole shit ton of synths in it.
Spoke too soon, maybe? Well, Cam dies to sins. Yeah, it's the whole NFT thing. It's a load of shit. It's essentially, to me, it's
Oh, it is.
how can we scam you out of your money? And you know what's rich is how obviously stars. I talk at a Star Citizen, just talked about it. I mean, people call Star Citizen a scam, right? Scam Citizen. That's the big thing. I mean, I used to. A few months ago, I was making a joke about how Halo Infinite's a fucking scam. But let's be honest, Halo Infinite, at least player, is a scam. You make the argument that the campaign, and it might be a valid argument. Because you are still getting something for it. It's just crap. Bad something.
You're getting a product, still just a bad product.
So whereas the multiplayer, you are literally getting. And how many times? And this goes for every free-to-play game, not just Halo Infinite. How many times do you hear of a scam that starts with, "Oh, don't worry, it's free"? That's how I view every free-to-play game.
All the time.
I'm being harsh because I want games to be what they were: art, escapism, not whatever the fuck we have now.
You just need to lower your expectations. Right? Isn't that what they always say nowadays? You just need to lower your expectations.
No, that's what they want you to
stop
do.
Being
Fuck that.
So
you know what?
greedy.
If they want me to lower my expectations, I'm gonna raise the fuck out of them. Because here's the thing: what year is this? 2022.
Oh shit! It's gonna blow.
Oh.
Synth just blew. I was salvaging. So I have a mod that lets me go and find like robots, and I can salvage them for like parts and shit.
Nice.
And so I salvage it, and then it just like starts going like beep 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 beep, and I was like, oh shit, I'm out of here.
By the way, I think I found out what was beeping last night with my Star Citizen.
Was it the grenade?
No, I think it may have been my tractor beam.
Really? Why the tractor beam?
Because sometimes when you activate it and then you don't, and you put it away, it still makes activated.
Huh.
Yeah, it's weird, but you know what? At least I figured out what the noise. But back to this bullshit. Yeah, it's
back to this the regularly scheduled bullshit.
It's just look, we're in the year 2022. I expect things to be better than they were, say, 20 years ago. I shouldn't have to
You just need to lower your expectations.
I shouldn't have to go to a game from 20 years ago, like or something from over 20 years ago, like the original Half-Life, and go, this is better than some of the stuff we get today. That is not how it should work. We should be well past, like, we should have stuff that blows
we should be getting more quality, not less.
Like, that should look like ancient crap by comparison.
And however, the fact that people cheered for the Master Chief Collection, I mean, on one hand, the original Halo games were good. On the other hand, though, it also tells you the quality of the current Halo games, Infinite included now,
right,
where they are crap. They don't hold a torch to the current shit.
And also, like, not the shit on Master Chief Collection, but because obviously I enjoy it, and awesome Halo with mods that isn't just Halo 3, because I've been playing decades now. Well, 3 with mods is awesome. But the problem with the Master Chief Collection, it's been out since 2014 or since 2019 on
Xbox.
PC. Still feature incomplete. Like, there are it's missing content from the original games that you can no longer do in the original games because the servers shut down. Watch my face.
Look, you need to lower your expectations. You just need to stop being that greedy, entitled gamer.
I can say the same about all the people that are donating money to all this community.
Mm-hmm.
And like, all the online features that Halo 3 or Halo ODST or even freaking Halo CE Anniversary had are, I mean, obviously most of them are still there, but a lot of them are going to be gone soon because the Xbox 360 server is getting shut. Which, you know what, I understand, obviously, like, they can't keep those up forever. I mean, they could, but they're not going to.
Well, like, on one hand, though, also, too, for example, with the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, so Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 put into a singular game there, they removed the multiplayer from Mass Effect 3, which I love. I still played that. It's good shit. But the fact that they were like, well, we just aren't going to include it. Why? Well,
Although part of me does
like
wonder, in, like, granted, I'm fully willing to go, oh, they probably just removed it. They said they just removed it, but didn't they also not, like, remember there's, like, missing DLC that they couldn't.
Yeah, there was a
work
DLC
with the game or
for
something?
Mass Effect 1 that they somehow fucked up the
It was the
source code for, supposedly. It was Pinnacle Station, I want to say.
Yes.
Where you would actually get a house. If you beat
a lot of
Pinnacle
content was in
Station,
that
you got
DLC.
a player house. You didn't have, it's not like a Skyrim player house kind of thing, but you would go and get a decent amount of stuff. You had a nice view, you could customize it a little bit, that kind of shit. Gone now. Can't get it. Doesn't exist now.
Which is a fucking bummer.
Mm-hmm. Especially too when they're like, this will include all DLC. Well, it doesn't. And also too, it's like, it'd be one thing if it was like, oh, well, here's something extra. Here's some content or something we restored for you. Something to make up for that. Something to kind of be like, hey, look, oops, our bad. Here's something to kind of tide you over. That'd be one thing. We did not get that.
No, and they edited some of the cutscenes from the original. In some cases, I can understand, but at the same time,
look, there was too much ass involved.
Even from the sexualized character who, like, actually there's a narrative reason for why
also
she's
too,
sexualized.
Whose entire their character, at least on introduction, they are trying to use their sexuality as a weapon. Yeah, that character.
Yeah, what's her face?
Miranda,
I think. I mean, it's the same problem. I have like a similar problem when they change things like that, like with the the Spider-Verse movie that they came out with 2018 or whatever, the animated one.
Kind of.
At the end of the film, in the credit scene, Spider-Man 2099, the S-Man show. I'm like, okay, awesome. I love Spider-Man 20. Grew up reading the.
You can read?
No, I'm growing up in the world. So it's like, okay, cool. But when they had Lila show up, for anyone who don't know, Lila is his personal AI, known as Hollow Agent, 2099 future. They changed her to be Lady Gaga, essentially. To be based on Lady Gaga, because Lila originally was based on Marilyn Monroe. And you're like, okay, this, when you're reading it at first, you're like, okay, that's a neat little thing. But then you learn later on that he looks like Marilyn Monroe, not because the artist just wanted the character to look like Marilyn Monroe, but because the character that created her, right, in the story, the person that wrote the code and created Lila is a huge fan of the 20th century and entertainment from the 20th. She had a tattoo of Marilyn Monroe on her belly. Decided to make the AI based on Marilyn Monroe, visually at least. So there's a narrative reason for why she looked like that. You change it, it's like, and I get it's a small change and it's a small thing to nitpick about, but You're talking
But
to
at the
someone
same
who,
point too, especially when you have lore reasons for why this happened, and at least somewhat decent ones, it would seem at that too.
and this wasn't a type of thing where they decided to go, oh, this is like this is why she's looks like Marilyn Monroe like 20 years later, because the original run lasted like a few years because it started in 1992. Marvel went bankrupt, and during that bankruptcy,
Morally or monetarily?
both.
Uh,
Well, I think monetarily first,
fair
because
enough.
that's why all of the film rights were distributed to various studios, 90s, and a lot of titles suffered from it, including 2099, like which got ended because
How dare you disparage our Lord and Master?
So the original story for Lila was written like one of the like early. I want to say you find out the story for her in any or issue like 24 or something, like very early on. Because the whole like the reason why the whole story of why you find out about Lila and how she's created was because she's becoming sentient. In the story was a huge thing. Anyway, I wasn't a fan of the small change, and that was just a narrative and obviously a visual thing that has narrative implications in a movie in one scene towards the end. When you're talking about an RPG game where the story and the visuals are really everything, in, right, in a game like that, I don't know. It's to me, it's the same thing, like the same problem. Maybe others disagree, and that's fine. To me, it's like why it's needless changes. Like I can understand like the changes where for femship you were looking up her skirt. Okay, that makes
Sure,
sense
yeah.
because that they prioritize the male body for the animations, and you can tell in certain scenes, and that's why you end up with femship doing like squats on a box. You're kind of just like, oh, okay, and just got a nice view up her skirt. But so I can understand that, but you're doing it for everything, especially again a character who has narrative reasons. But anyway, talk this topic to death. Um, yeah, the whole let's change things because we can.
Again, with
There's an old
no
saying.
thought to what are we changing and why are we changing it and why is what it was not good enough.
There's an old saying: if it ain't broke, don't fix. It is a very important saying.
No.
Yeah. But the whole. How did we get on this topic? Oh, right, Deanna.
And a who now?
Oh,
And a 1. And a 2.
Yeah, like in Konami, everyone's doing NFTs because that's a new thing. Yeah, exactly. As you said, it's a new way to launder money, essentially. And this is where my worst fears for the gaming industry are coming true. Where it's like, oh, because we didn't get rid of everyone's like, oh, the monetization stuff is fine in games, right? When you're fine with it, well, there's another saying: give someone an inch, they'll take a mile. I introduce to you Exhibit A.
How dare you? Well, as we have also seen time and time again, the companies in general do not have our best interests at all. They do not want to make a good product for us. That is no longer the question or the interest for them. It is now all just about how can we screw people over the most to get our buck.
You can even make the argument. Well, it's not even just that. It's just how can we make the most money, and then they find the answer through X means. Like I was talking to a graphic designer I work for. I mean, and I asked and I was talking to him like, hey, have you heard about all this NFT stuff with games? And he doesn't play a lot of games. He was like, yeah, I'm not even 100% more sure what an NFT is, but what I do know tells me that this is immoral.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is this in a game? Like, he's not a
you,
huge gamer,
buddy.
but he has, I should clarify, he's not a huge gamer, but he has played games, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he'll play a game here and there if it's, like, something he's interested in. But it's just like, yeah, he's confused why this exists. Apparently, at Ubisoft, some of the employees are confused and disappointed with this.
Oh, yeah?
Like, the ground floor devs. AKA not the executives that are going to be making a shit ton of money off of this. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many problems with it. Yeah, it just sucks. And we know it's going to be like another decade until they get to take support for this, if ever. Especially at the rate that the world is kind of falling to pieces in.
Yeah, if ever is probably more closer to. We'll see here. That's really the shame of it too. Just that
we're never going to get their comeuppance.
Well, not even comeuppance, but just that, and I feel like you have this happening in the world to a degree, but also just more specifically in the entertainment industry here. You have companies and organizations screwing people over, and they're pretty much saying like, I'm gonna screw you over, but I'm not that guy. And yet people will go, well, he's not that guy. Let's go for it. At least, at least they aren't that guy. Kind of shit. Whether that guy is another company, another organization, a person, whatever the case might be. And it's just like you're sitting there like, this shit, even maybe like 15 years ago, you would have riots about this kind of shit. Organizations would be sued and shut down, and now people cheer. It's like, what the fuck? Not to delve too far sharply off into politics here, but for a similar example, this was 2018, I think, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. It was being looked into.
What?
I won't actually say investigated because obviously nothing actually came of it, but it was being looked into that the Obama administration of the President of the United States, when President Obama was still the president, it was being looked into that he had gone and spied on the Trump campaign.
I heard about
while he was campaigning. So this is, bear in mind, and the reason I bring this up, I can hear eyeballs rolling. Oh, Trump, Orange Man bad. Sure, whatever your thoughts on it, but The
irrelevant to the point
historical
he's making.
relevance to why I bring this up is that a sitting president or people in their employ spying on, bugging a presidential candidate who's coming up.
Not even president.
This is also known as, for those who know history, of course, already know it, this is known as Watergate. A president was unanimously told from both the left and the right, if you do not resign, we are going to impeach you for this, because the actions, even if you did not directly condone it, people in your employ were doing this, you have to go. No ifs, no ands, no buts. And so he resigned rather than actually get impeached. But he was told, no uncertainty, if you do not, we are going to fucking impeach you. Right. And it was found that this had happened. That President Obama had been spying illegally on the Trump campaign. Whether you like the guy or not does not change the legal status of the action. By and large, and this is my standpoint across many things, by and large, in my opinion, and what should be legal precedent, but as we often see is not actually the case in practice, but legal standards should state that an action is right or wrong. It does not matter who is doing it, and it does not really matter who you're doing it to. What matters is the action. If the action is bad, it does not matter who you're doing it to, it is still bad. If the action is good, it does not matter who you're doing it to, it is still good. Again, this is a general sense. You can poke holes in that because it is an overgeneralization. But if hitting someone is bad, it doesn't matter that the person I'm hitting I don't like. Saying, well, I didn't like them, you know, they were saying hate speech, that's great. However, that's still assault. That is still a crime. You cannot justify assault by saying, well, they were saying they don't like people who wear yellow shirts. That's great, and we get you rid of like people who wear yellow shirts. However, still assault. Now, the person, to go and cover my bases, if anyone ever actually does listen to these, you know, all three of our viewers, if someone goes and says, hey, you know, if for example, if someone were to go, hey, all people named Cam Solaster need to die. Well, that's not very nice toward people named Cam Solaster, like,
finally, someone
thus truly. But, okay, I go, well, you too. If someone says, hey, I'm going to go and kill anyone I can find in Cam Solaster as soon as I fucking see them. Hey, Cam Solaster that's talking right now? Yeah, I'm going to go and find you and I'm going to stab you at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, this is a actionable threat. This is not just a, I think you should die, but this is a, I am going to kill you. I know some people have some trouble with linguistic particulars, but there is a difference here between saying, well, I think everyone like that should die, and I am going to kill you. Okay, there's a difference between a expression of dislike, as harsh as that dislike might be, and a threat. At that point, if they go, hey, Cam Solaster, I'm going to fucking kill you. Okay, that is a threat. Now, especially if that person's saying, hey, Cam Solaster, I'm going to kill you, and they're standing 20 feet from me and they have a knife, that is an immediate threat to my life. Or anyone else named Cam Solaster. These are fine points, but they do matter. But that all being said, so you literally have actions that would have resulted in ridiculously huge scandals before that. Everyone just goes, well, why not? The talking head on the TV said it's good. Do thinking for yourself. Do your own research. Look into this shit. But to kind of bring this back, just because large companies are saying they love NFTs doesn't mean that NFTs are the next biggest thing and that you should like them too. In my opinion, with what I have seen and heard and discovered with them, as I said, to me it seems like a pretty fucking easy money laundering scheme that people are buying into hook, line, and sucker. And it's an ongoing perpetual scam where you're just hoping that you're not the last one holding the scam bag when it all falls apart. Either way, not something I want to get into,
And no, it definitely feels like a scam.
I mean, it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's literally just someone saying this picture, this canvas on which I shit a turd onto is worth X amount. Why? Because I say this. People, wow, yeah, okay, I bought it for 20,000. It went to buy it for 30,000. It's literally the same thing, except in that case, you don't even have anything physical. It's a picture. Come on, people. Thought we were smarter than this. Anywho,
But wrong, buddy.
Next topic.
Like, look, at the end of the day, vote with your wallet. Like, everyone's always like, vote with your wallets. That's the way to stop them, right? I think that used to be true. Honestly, at this point, we gotta take them the for it because they're just gonna keep trying until they find. Like, that's the thing is.
Well, the problem is
give
though,
them an inch, they'll take a mile.
as it is. With NFTs though, as it is, just going and saying, hey, this piece of paper upon which I spit on and crunch it into a ball, and now I'm holding in my hand, is worth X amount of money. If I can convince some fucker that it's worth this amount of money, that's not illegal. Now, it might fully well be a scam, but it's not illegal. Now, if I can go and directly link money laundering and prove that, sure, that is illegal. However, good luck. Yeah.
Obviously, we can't take them to court with just one thing, but like, look, just the gambling stuff, and honestly, we just need them to look their way on one thing, and then they'll notice the rest. Hopefully.
Yeah, well, good fucking luck.
No, obviously, good luck with that. But the problem then it brings up another problem: the lack of accountability. We see no one's held accountable these days. Anything.
Nope. Well,
no one who
you oftentimes see a very picky, choosy,
right? That's
kind of thing to where this is the law, but we, the government, or we the organization that oversees these laws, are going to let this such and such company slide because we like them. And it's like, don't give a fuck that you like them. It's illegal. Do your fucking jobs. But where before there was much animosity between large corporations and the government, that's why we have like antitrust laws, now they're hand in hand. To where, I mean, you have megacorps such as Google, such as Facebook, such as Microsoft, which I would argue Microsoft has gotten back to where they already have gotten hit by antitrust laws before, but they have grown back, and I would argue they're pretty fucking close to being it, if not already now. But you aren't going to see them being held accountable because, among other things too, government's in fucking cahoots with them. Because among other things too, for example, if I'm a large corporation and I go and say, for example, let's say I'm Amazon, and let's say I go and I push for legislation that says, hey, if you want to be a retailer, or if you want to be an online retailer, you have to have for your storefront, just for the poor customers, because it's always about the people, even when it's not, and especially when it's not, it's about the people, because how else am I going to convince you to support what I want to do if I don't phrase it as it's somehow being good for you? It's not, but I'm going to lie to you and tell you it is anyway. What do I mean by this? So, say I'm Amazon and I say, hey, if you want to be an online retailer, you have to have a 30-day money-back guarantee. You cover the shipment. The company has to cover the shipping price for what they're doing. Now, let's say, for example, that I am a company that ships out very large items and the shipping cost is in the thousands of dollars. Well, due to this, and let's say Amazon gets this law passed. Well, due to this, well, shit, if I have, and this is without even going, Amazon goes and says, oh, let's make a few orders here through some dummy corporations, and then we'll make fudge the paperwork a bit, and we'll have them shipped back and make the company eat those couple $1,000s worth of shipping costs. Let's say if I had it, express shipped on a fucking plane overnight from one part of the U.S. to another because I had to have it today. Oh, I actually don't need that. Let me go and return it. I can go and run a competitor out of business. And that's exactly what a lot of these large corporations do is they put what's called barriers to entry. You might have heard of this before in economics. They put barriers to entry so that smaller corporations are going, I have to now, and like, oh, it's for you. And sure, there might even be some benefits to what they're saying. Oh, all companies have to have this because we're just so generous. We want everyone else to be as generous too. It's like, okay, but really what you're doing is you're making it so no one can compete with you because to compete, I have to do XYZ ABC 1, 2, 3 to even get my foot in the door where before I only had to do XYZ.
Like,
So that way they
Google,
stay a monopoly
Google
because
YouTube,
no one else
right?
can get started up and build themselves up to be a competitor.
Like, take Google and YouTube. How many YouTube competitors are there that right now? Because I can count on my. I don't think I even can count on my fingers how many times.
Not many.
How many have tried to compete, and then Google shuts them down or buys them or whatever, so that they have
or sues them for something. Because also too, if I'm, bear in mind again, in America, I can sue anyone for anything, even if the lawsuit might get thrown out. You still have to hire a lawyer. You have to show up. You have, you'll have to have a legal department. Oh, you're a mom and pop business and you don't have a legal department? Guess what? I'm taking time out of you running your business to go and fuck with you. And oh, we're so sorry that we misinterpreted the law and wasted your time for a week where you couldn't do your work. We're so sorry. Sorry doesn't go and get me back a week worth of profits that I'm
Sorry
missing
doesn't
out on
feed the
because I'm here
bulldog.
not running my business.
Like
And
the my old job, like a year ago now, over a year ago actually, 2 years ago. Sorry. They went under because it was a watch and face manufacturer. It was a furniture manufacturer, and not a big name. And they were getting like all of their furniture was getting knocked off by China. China was knocking off their products and selling it for cheaper. And they just couldn't. They didn't have the money to take it to court. And how do you take that to court?
you know,
And eventually, the fact that also they had to work, right? And because China was essentially outselling them in their own products and their own designs, because they manufactured their own, like they designed their own stuff. I designed some of the stuff they made, furniture wise. A lot of like stuff you don't have to assemble. That was their whole thing was that you have to assemble the stuff you bought from them. So essentially, it's just open out of box ready furniture, and China would just steal some of which were my designs, and then would just slap a new sticker and everything on that, and call it a day. Leaving the company I worked for and myself kind of in the dust. I fucked over.
what kind of do you mean? But no, absolutely. But now, bear in mind, of course, not necessarily illegal, although, of course, you could get him on copyright infringement, but, well, China doesn't give a fuck about your copyright infringement.
Right, that's the thing. So we're
Well,
dealing
it
with
has
China.
long been an issue, but I don't get why we don't. Well, I can understand why we don't just be like, oh, well, you're copyright infringing? Cool. Well, we're going to go and fucking toss your company out of the country. You can no longer operate here. I can understand why
This
we
was an
don't do
American
it.
company I was working.
Yeah. But
It was in Jersey.
it's like we have to have a harder line on this shit because if we don't, I mean, as we see, American companies get fucking run into the ground because hey, we're China. We go and force our own people into prison camps and make them, in between our torture and rape sessions, we go and make them assemble furniture that we sell overseas.
Rip-offs of American-made furniture.
Nope.
Also, what happened to Never Again? To the
Yeah.
whatever.
It died pretty fucking quick. That's what happened.
Fortunately, the same can't be said about those in the camp. Dark, maybe, but accurate.
That's way too. You can see that. Oh, is it racist? Because we say so.
Speaking of China, apparently they're allowing Tencent to approve. They reapproved the Tencent apps. Apparently they.
Not fucking surprised.
Like they had to stop them because again they're cracking down on games. If you're a minor in China, you cannot play. Well, obviously you're probably not going to watch this at all. But for anyone who doesn't know, minors cannot play games during the week at all, and they can only play for 1 hour on the weekends. So from Friday through Sunday.
Sounds about right.
That's crazy. Most of my childhood was games. Yeah, it's just again, it's just the reason why we bring up all these non-gaming topics is because they're relevant to the discussion. In that there's no accountability, and you're seeing it everywhere. Whether it's a game company, right, like EA or Ubisoft or Activision, because Activision, Ubisoft, both are currently under scrutiny and legal action for their sexual harassment. Lego is actually is not going to be making a Overwatch set because of the sexual harassment scandal. PlayStation and Xbox bosses and even Nintendo bosses are all kind of like, what the fuck, guys? But I still believe that this is a normal across the industry.
Questions. No questions.
Normal across the industry. So they're probably the same exact crimes that Activision.
Do not question your overlords. Yeah.
I will not. Only their robot over logic.
How
Here it's just me bullshit.
Anywho.
Then I had, speaking of Microsoft, we were talking about them earlier. They're currently doing this whole thing where freedom of speech isn't allowed. Essentially, according to a Bounding Into Comics article, Xbox head or Xbox boss Phil Spencer says Xbox is, quote unquote, literally in quotations here, not a free speech platform. Proposes a cross-console ban to combat toxicity. Declaring that the console and its online services were not a free speech platform, Xbox boss Phil Spencer has revealed his wish for industry-wide mechanism, according to the article, where players banned from one video game service automatically receive the same treatment across all others. So if you're
now, bear in mind, that would mean then that, hey, you piss off the wrong person at Microsoft, at Sony, at any of them, everyone else just goes, okay. There's no appeals. There's no, hey, wait a minute, they were unfairly biased against me. It's just no. You are a sinner. Like, yikes.
At least Half-Life had the goddamn Combine. We're just in regular 19 or Brave New World.
Yeah, really.
Pick your poison at this point.
I mean, for example, To bring this into real world politics, similarly, say for example, you had some people going and proposing, well, hey, why not make it so that people on the no-fly list, because there is a federal no-fly list of people who cannot get any commercial flight. Why not prevent people who are on the no-fly list from buying guns? And the response generally was, well, you can be put on the no-fly list for any reason or no reason at all. You aren't informed that you're even on the no-fly list until you try to fly. And getting off the no-fly list is near impossible. There is no appeal system to it. You can't go and say, you don't go and say, like, General of the FBI, hey, I was put on the no-fly list. Yeah, it was a bunch of bogus stuff. And they go, oh, okay, fill out this form, this form, this form, submit those, and you're good. And we'll review it. And, assuming it actually was bogus, we'll go and get you off of there. There is no system like that. I remember hearing about there was a senator. Bear in mind, so somewhat relatively well-known person in America was accidentally put on the no-fly list. So bear in mind, this means that people are already being put on the list. And again, bearing in mind, there's no appeal. You don't know about it until suddenly you're just restricted. Security's at the airport. You're going to go on a flight, and security's suddenly talking to you, and oh, hey, that vacation you wanted to take, guess what? You ain't fucking taking it. But a senator had to take about a week with all of their connections and all the people that they know to get off of there, and that's because they were able to go directly to the agency and talk to the people involved and go, oh yeah, it was all just a mix-up, and here's the information. What chance does your average fucking citizen have? None. You're literally talking a similar thing to where, guess what? You're disbanded. Why? Well, we don't have to fucking tell you. You can just fuck out, oh, all that money you paid us? Yeah, sorry, we're keeping that.
But you mean exactly like how we got our copyright strike
it's fucking disgusting.
I mean, that's exactly how we got our copyright strike. Going back 2 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
The article continues pretty much detailing it, right? Quoting him, saying how Spencer spoke of his vision for the future of video gaming during a recent interview with the New York Times. First off, New York Times right there. There you go. That's why this is already like a bad idea. Sorry, we have a thing here in New York where we hate Times. Well, it fucking sucks. That legitimately sucks. The rag that's called the New York Post is a better newspaper. Kara or Kara, I don't know, K-A-R-A. Kara, whichever you want to pronounce. Swisher, in which he largely discussed how the burgeoning metaverse VR landscape, whatever the fuck those words mean.
Questions, heathen.
I legitimately don't know. Honestly, I don't care either. Could learn from how games like Halo and Fortnite have already created their own virtual worlds, as well as what lessons the industry from Gamergate. What's Gamergate?
Wasn't that thing where I feel like it was like something where like there were like some famous people and they had like nudes on their phones or something, or like on their Facebook accounts or something, and like they got leaked. I don't know what that has to do with gaming, but it was some like big thing that blew up, I don't know, like 10, 15 years back. But honestly, to me, it sounds like this guy wants to become a petty dictator and is trying to jack himself off to this idea of sitting there in the big leather chair going, yes, I own you all. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting here, but
a little bit. I mean, even if it's like conspiracy theories, in this day and age, how often is conspiracy theory
accountability.
Sounding accurate?
When have any organizations, whether they be government or private, gone, well, yeah, we should have more power, we should have the ability to fuck with your lives more, and when has that gone well for the little people, for your average person here? Because bear in mind, at the end of the day, 90% of us are the little people. We're the average person on the street. We aren't going to be the ones in charge. We aren't going to be the ones that are going to be sitting at the table with all the famous and important people. Now we're going to be the dirty fucking idiots out on the street here, looking through the window at the big fancy gathering that all the elites are having. We're regular people, right? I'd prefer things to be as good for the regular people as possible, because I'm one of the regular people.
Right.
And like I said, especially in like the past like 1 or 2 decades here, all we've seen is ever encroaching restrictions, ever encroaching control of people. And what have we gotten in return for giving up liberty? As we're told, you need to do this. You have to do this. It'll make you safer. How much more safety do we have? Does the world feel safer right now than it was 10 to 20 years ago?
Come on, if history's taught me...
I wouldn't say so.
No.
And I would say that the biggest threats to that safety,
you
and again, I'm talking in a general sense, are the large corporations and the government.
No, you're absolutely right. And here's the thing, like, from history as well as fiction, what is the best way to assert control over a populace?
Start killing them all?
Safety, security, and protection.
And making sure that you point it and say, they're the bad guys. Look at them. Ignore us as we pick your pocket and put these shackles.
You don't even need a freaking bad guy. It's just safety and security, really. Right? As long as you're providing safety and security, that's your means of
details
control.
Yeah, pretty sad. Anywho.
And as for the whole, like, it's not, because right now it is not safe. My freaking mother wants to shoot and get a gun. Granted, she's not exactly like, anti-gun or whatever like that, but it's like, my mother of all people really wants to all suddenly learn how to use a gun, like, because it is not safe here in New York. Walk the streets. It's seemingly we're competing.
Look, if it's not safe, it's just because you're a bad person. It's like, because wait. Let me pull some bullshit out of my ass here.
Oh, great.
It's because per what people were saying with the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, it's because you chose to be in a bad area. You live in a bad area.
Nice when I got here.
Well, it doesn't matter. Bad area now.
You can make the argument that I got here next.
And because of that, it's entirely on you if bad things happen to you. And also, too, by living in that Bay Area, jumping over to, there was some fucking, like, DA or something. I forgot where it was, but they were saying that they were trying to excuse, I want to say it was Chicago. But they were trying to go and wave off, the continuous high murder rate that they have.
Right.
I mean, you literally have people dying. Is it every week?
Oh no, they have the worst gun violence. I'm pretty sure, if not in the country,
I'm not even talking gun violence. I'm just talking violence in general.
I know,
like,
but
not even
the
gun
fact that
violence.
they have just gun violence alone is its own category. There, it's that bad. And it's category everywhere. But you know what I mean? Where it's like,
one of their DAs though was arguing that it does, or they were, I should say, they were waiving charges for people who were arrested for gang violence because, to their word, the gang members were engaging in mutual combat, which now, I should say, mutual combat, at least in terms of legality, is a thing. What it covers, and it very specifically has things that say this does not cover like lethal combat or anything like that. That anything that's getting to the point of actual bodily harm that you can't So I should say what it does cover. What mutual combat is meant to cover is things like sports, or things like if you are a wrestler, or if you're doing boxing, you're going to get hurt. And it's like, if you're a boxer and some guy punches you in the ring, you can't go and say, he assaulted me, arrest him. No,
It's literally
the sport is that you are punching each other. That is what mutual combat covers. It is very specifically not long-term grievous bodily harm, not covering death. But this Chicago, and like I said, I think they were like the DA or they were an attorney or something like that, was refusing to bring charges up because they were saying that, well, they were agreeing to be in mutual combat. That one, they're still fucking gang members, and I fucking bet you they didn't get those guns legally that they're shooting at each other with. Those guns that you keep saying are so bad, and yet you refuse when you have people in hand caught doing these crimes. Oh, we're not going to charge them. Well, what's the point of the gun laws then if you aren't going to charge people, right? Oh, I guess they only charge the people they don't like, but I guess they like these people. I don't know. Maybe one of them's their cousin or something. Who knows? But either way, this is the level of absurdity that when people who are using guns to murder other people, or at least try to murder other people, are caught, you have people who do generally lean one end of the political spectrum, I won't say which, are letting them get off. They're refusing to bring charges. They let them back out on the streets, and they just go,
that's the main problem.
Oh, they weren't near my neighborhood where I have police patrols daily and walls and a gate that keeps the undesirables out. Shows what they think of the average person who might be caught in the crossfire. You can go fucking die in a ditch for all they care, as long as they aren't near their house. Same thing. I mean, you saw the same thing during 2020. Politicians going, oh, it's just some peaceful protests up until they got near their neighborhood. Then it's like, oh, National Guard, help, help, help. And it got shut down like that. Weird how that happens. You and your families, you can go fucking die in a fire. But as soon as they're threatened, oh, man, world's ending.
We're starting to sound like
just
the
remember, folks,
from What's-Her-Face.
This kind of shit is why I would prefer stuff that helps the common person, because in pretty much 99% of all cases, I'm going to be treated like a common person because I am a common person.
Yep.
So I'd rather that things for the common person be as good as possible, not just for whoever the elites decide they're going to support these days, because among other things, their attention span is pretty fucking fickle, huh? For who they think their friends are. So,
and that's and again, just to get us back on track here.
Never.
The reason why, again, we're bringing this up is, it doesn't affect gaming. Like, no, it's not a here's the thing.
We did get pretty fucking off topic there.
The fact that games can be situations involved in the game industry can be equated to real life situations right now, like with NFTs and stuff. To me, the NFTs when I first saw them were sort of like stocks. The fact that it looks or resembles stocks at all is already bad. It's actually worse because at least stocks have value.
Details.
But that's the thing. It's like that's the problem in and of itself, is that things in gaming are more mirroring the real world than they would a game. Like we're talking.
We didn't want a dystopia. As much fun as it might be to run around inside of one in a video game,
right.
Real life, not too much fun there.
Video games at the end of the day are supposed to be art. They're supposed to be escapism. Yet, all we're seeing in video games today are essentially reminders of the real world and bullshit. Oh, you didn't get your whatever NFT. You can't play X game mode because that's what it's going. That's closer to the end goal. Eventually, it'll be, oh, you didn't buy X thing. Like the game will be in packages. I mean, it's already in packages. They just don't charge you for all of it yet, all the time.
Oh,
they will eventually. I hope that we can snub this in the bud before
if they can go and rip you off for something, they will, as we're seeing time and time again.
I mean, look, how much of Halo Infinite did we manage to predict accurately? Like, that's a problem in of itself. You know, both for
A
us
lot.
and. I mean, I would say, like, percentage-wise, close to 100. Everything.
I mean, I'd say like 85, 90. Just about.
Well, yeah, I guess because we didn't predict everything. Like, good
Yeah.
stuff.
But
like, they
still,
managed to surprise us in
for
some
this
areas.
being, you know, two guys sitting here bullshitting and kind of just calling things as we see them, it's pretty fucking bad.
Yep. I mean, granted, we're jaded. Experiencing this stuff.
How dare you?
Unfortunately, but that's the problem, is that this isn't new. None of this is new. It's going on and on.
And it's only getting worse.
It is only getting. It's only going to continue to get worse before it gets better, if it ever does at this point. Not to be super pessimistic.
I don't see things getting better.
I don't see an improvement at the end of the tunnel. I don't see a light.
And part of the problem though is too is that with a lot of this stuff, as we're seeing with so much these days, who are the ones who are you know, for example, NFTs? Where did you probably hear them first? You probably would have heard about them from social media, i.e., Discord, Twitter, Facebook, something like that.
YouTube.
Or you heard about it, you know, because people are talking about them. But even there, how did the topic really get onto there? You know, how did the story evolve? Some large news organization out there said, "Hey, NFTs, hot topic, make a story." Once again, going to the media, they push things that they want people to talk about, and they'll cover things up they don't want people talking about. Whatever the topic might be, whether it's gaming or movies or political stuff or whatever, this is the modus operandi. And as we're seeing, NFTs, big thing. Now, part of it is that there's a lot of money involved. Of course, they're going to go and report on that. Which, hey, fair enough. At the same point, though, mostly all the actual news stories from news organizations, all news stories I've seen have just talked about NFTs, saying, essentially, now, when you get into the actual text of the article, they're usually going and saying like, yeah, this shit's kind of scammy. But the headlines, which bear in mind, who even fucking reads the articles these days, right? You know, we're all busy people. You read the headline, you move on, right? Just talks about, oh, there's money involved. Money. Not anything good or bad about them or anything like that. Just, oh, person made X number of thousands of dollars on NFTs. Would seem to be they're promoting it, even if in the text they'll say otherwise. But how many news articles do you see on other shit where headline says one thing, sure, the body of the text, you know, right in the last paragraph, they might refute everything they've said up until this point, but who's going to read that far? Not many people these days.
Look, well, obviously you can make the argument that every article, but every news thing happened is promoting that thing.
You know, and in the sense of any coverage is good coverage, but
that's the thing. Well, yeah, that's what DC wanted, right? When they made Superman gay or whatever, or Son gay.
Yeah.
Or bi or whatever it was. Sorry if I offended anyone. I really don't care about the
story. How dare you?
story.
I've never been so offended in the last 3 minutes of my life.
And that's on you.
No, you have to change to fit my expectations, needs, and my emotional childishness. Right?
Does that for me? Why should I do it for someone else? Fuck that.
Well, you're not part of the right people. Isn't that how this works?
And again, like that, the problem is, again, like this is all like how much do we see this all the time? I don't mean like the news media, but like escapism. Like it's in escapism. All this shit. Like you can't escape
welcome
from
to the new world.
The whole point of escapism is to be able to escape reality and enjoy yourself and like in a game, lose yourself in some fictional world where you're fighting aliens or something.
Well, you know, those aliens stand in for your own internal racism.
Okay, well, if I kill them, there won't be any more racism because they'll all be dead.
I know. Can't fault you for that logic.
What was that?
I said I can't fault you for that logic.
Jokes aside, like that, I can't do that anymore because now, I mean, I can't speak of Halo. I can't speak of Halo. Just obviously, I don't know. It has that sort of political bullshit, but I know in like Battlefield 5, right? A game that, yes, it's a World War II game, so it's supposed to be based on real world events. Except when I'm playing a World War II game, being a history not about World War II, I expect it to be as close to World War II as possible.
How fucking dare you with your expectations?
Having technology from the 90s. Female soldiers where there originally were none. Yes, I know the Russians have snipers.
And also, too, on the note, which we've talked about before, too, is it's like, you had females fighting in World War II, even World War I. You had units that were females on the front lines. Tell a story about them. Nope, can't do that. We got to go and we'll fake something up and then claim it's historically accurate and then bitch at you when you say no, it's not.
No, what Battlefield 5 did is they replaced a story that took I forget which operation, but it was an operation to hit a hard water facility, nuclear facility, and this was an operation that took 5 guys, and I don't think they all made. I don't think all of them, if any of them, survived.
And also too, I should note, it's perfectly fine to embellish a event to a degree in a video game because it's a fucking video game.
Right, like you can make it where they survived.
I mean, if you were to go and say though, here is a historically accurate video game, and you have UFOs flying around, yeah, okay, that's not too historically accurate. It's like, that being said, if you wanted to go and be like, here is a game set in a alternate history World War II. Boom, at that point you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Like seriously. If you want, I mean, look at, for example.
What's from Wolfenstein?
Yeah, well, there you go. And you even have stuff going into like a modern day kind of thing with some twists. Or like, for those who've played it, Sniper Elite. And there's like 1, 2, 3, and 4 now. There's spin-offs of the Sniper Elite games, which are all like World War I and II stuff, called Zombie Army. And it's essentially just, it's World War, it's all the same World War II stuff, and they went and changed the models a bit and stuff, and just made it so that instead of fighting enemy soldiers, you're fighting hordes of zombies now. It's the same basic game platform, but with zombies. So you've taken all the realism out of it. But at this point, though, you now have, essentially, I mean, think about it. You have a game that you are developing, and with a few changes and add-ons, a few mesh and texture changes, you're selling 2 games for the price of 1. That's genius! Especially when you're selling them both for the price of a full game. You do a little bit of extra audio work, you do a little bit of extra texture work and shit like that, and you've got 2 games because they're both being based on the same engine, the same shooting mechanics, and all that kind of shit. You could easily do something like that.
Plus, alternate tellings of World War II are interesting, but this wasn't.
Yeah, and there's
they advertised it as an official World War II or whatever.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, but when you try to say my game is historically accurate, and people go, well, okay, and like I said, it's not like people are going like, you said your game is historically accurate. But in this battle, you spawned 20 tanks, and there were actually 32. I mean, if it was something like that, I'd be like, come on, get the fuck out of here with your bullshit. Stuff like that, no. People are going to care about it. But when you have things like, hey, you have a British female soldier who has a prosthetic that's somehow better than our modern day ones on the front lines,
the 90s, it's still,
you're stretching, well, I mean, given the fact that you're able to operate a gun at full efficiency with it, I'm saying it's at
It's
least
not.
at current day
Like
level.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that even today, at least U.S. and as well as British, if you have you lose a limb in service, you're automatically honorably discharged.
No.
No,
If you
for
if you
combat.
lose a leg, I know there are guys at least that I have at least secondhand accounts of guys, even like we're talking like Delta and Rangers and stuff like that. So we're talking some of the more serious stuff here, not just some random infantry unit somewhere who lost a leg and they have a prosthetic and they went back into active service with a prosthetic leg. Hands, not as much, at least as far as I'm aware, just because you lose so much dexterity with that. There's just a lot you cannot do, even with modern prosthetics.
No, and the good ones are expensive or experimental.
Yeah, because a foot, it's like, generally speaking, what do we use in our feet for? We use them to walk and we use them to balance with. But with a hand, you need so many precise movements to be able to do all kinds of things. If you lose a hand, you're not going to be full combat effective there. But legs, you can go and actively serve, at least in the U.S. military. Pretty sure to be the same with the British and all that.
Right, but yeah, but again, a leg, yeah, as you said, a leg is what, like nowadays. We have the Paralympics, right, where everyone has like prosthetic legs, and you see the legs.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, like that's again because it's just balance. It's just you can run. If you can run on it, then you're good for combat. But a hand, if you were missing an arm, how are you even going to operate an M6?
Yeah. Well, it's like if it's your non-dominant hand, you could do a lot. And now, bearing in mind too, I mean, and especially if we were talking about an alternate history kind of thing, sure. Even with if your prosthetic was just a a metal hand, and it's like all it can really do, like you can have it clamp down on stuff or not clamp down on stuff. That'd be enough if it's your non-dominant hand in a general sense. But if it's your dominant hand, nope. You have to do so much just for operating an M16. I mean, being able to drop your magazine, being able to pull your weapon apart, and being able to clean it. These are precise motions you got to be able to do
gun,
here.
like other guns are worse.
Some of them, but
well, I mean, worse in that obviously, like you need two hands to handle them. If you were to be one-handed, well, I was wrong about that.
Anyway,
the point is that in World War II, if you lost any limb, you were automatically like.
Oh,
the
I mean,
prosthetics
of the
time. For anyone who don't know, the prosthetics of the time were pretty much a wooden sculpted hand.
Yeah, I mean, it would depend.
If you even got one,
you were. But bearing in mind too, part of the problem is that if you were someone who was very rich and very well connected, you might be able to get something decently better. But at that point too, if you're doing that, you're probably also not charging back into the fight.
Out of service, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be very rare for someone to have the money and means to be able to get that. Because bearing in mind too, how many people are losing limbs in World War II? A lot, which means you're going to have a whole lot of mass-produced cheap shit because they're just like, look, just get stuff out as fast as possible. Quality doesn't matter as much because it's better to have something than nothing, right? So you'd have to be pretty well connected. Because like I remember reading on the note of prosthetics, I remember reading about some knight back in like the 1500s or something like that, who lost a limb while they were out gallivanting, you know, and raiding enemy keeps and that kind of shit. They were mercenary. They lost their limb at like the elbow, somewhere around there. They had a metal prosthetic made and continued on being able to fight for several more years. They actually ended up like kidnapping the Pope or something too. Forgot the guy's name, but I came across the story before and I came across it again like a couple weeks ago, so it's in my head. But the reason I mentioned this guy specifically was that among also being a mercenary, a knight, and a fighter, he was also a poet, and it was important for him. Apparently, it was his dominant hand that he lost, and it was important for him that he be able to write poetry, and he was able to. Like it showed a picture of what his limb might have looked like. It's this articulated metal kind of thing. Bearing in mind, you aren't going to be able to. You could probably position the fingers where you want them, and then they're going to stay there, and then you can move your elbow to write with you have some amount of fine motion control that you learn with your elbow, and you write that way. But this is someone who also had a huge amount of wealth at his disposal, because one, he's a knight, which means he's already nobility. Two, he was a successful knight, which means that he was going out and capturing keeps, capturing and killing bad guys, and getting a lot of gold from whichever other nobility was supporting him, or the crown that was supporting him for doing this stuff. So this guy pretty much has access to the best level of technology available. As it is, like I said, even with modern top of the line prosthetics, we're getting to the point where you have, we're talking about hands, because hands are very complex. You got to be able to move in all kinds of weird little ways with your fingers. But we're starting to get to the point of people being able to control limbs and actually have some amount of finger control. Not too much fine finger control, but finger control.
And that's with limbs that don't have to be surgically attacked or have a chip installed in your brain.
Yeah, which, I mean, honestly, you're probably going to do at some point, but
right, but
that technology is probably
not,
about 50 years away.
Yeah, that's a long time away. Also, the fact that, again, that's not something that you can just do. There's a great deal of side effects that could and probably will happen.
But the real question is, do you know
The Muffin Man?
Anywho, yeah.
Just, again, all of this shit is relevant, and that's a problem that it's relevant to the same topic. Like, why when we're talking about games, can we all of a sudden start talking about real world politics and stuff? Because it's all the same problem.
It's being shoved in there.
It's being shoved in there, and if it's not, they're doing the same shit, like the monetization crap. Like,
to be fair though, and I should note, we go and we rag on a lot of stuff, and we rag on, like, oh, politics is being shoved into this, like politics being shoved into movies, into comics, and and some people would argue, and rightfully so, that, well, politics, comics, especially comics, but movies, games have always had politics in them. Absolutely, but and I should note too, at this point I've already scared off anyone who might be having an open mind here anyway. But generally speaking, at least so it seemed to my young and still forming mind in my formative years, when I was playing things like Call of Duty World at War and things like the first couple of Battlefields and all that kind of shit, Modern Warfare, the original. Playing these games, absolutely politics are involved. Yes, they're absolutely going and mirroring some amount of real world events or echoing political sentiments at the time. That being said, so it seemed to me in many cases, not all, of course, but in many cases, the politics being involved was in the sense of, we're going to go and throw situations or stuff at you, and that, and that's kind of it. We'll create the scenario and we'll have you go through it, but it's kind of up to you what you pull away from it, what lessons you pull from it, what you take out of it is up to you. How you learn from it, like I said, what you take out of it, what ideas, what lessons you may learn is up to you. We're just going to go and give you that information, kind of set everything up. But especially in the last, I would say 10 years or so, it's especially, but probably starting to start up before that we only noticed it then. But now it's all about, I'm going to beat you over the head with this message, and if you dare disagree, you're a bad person. It's no longer about, let me give you the information, you make of it what you will. It's, I'm going to tell you what to think, and if you disagree, as with, and this is the same in comics, the same in movies, where it's no longer just, hey, you have good and bad in as much, pretty much every comic, superheroes and villains and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's pretty much always good and bad, and you have empathy and sympathy for the good guys, and you feel righteous anger at the bad guys and all that kind of shit. Sure, absolutely. At the same point, though, by and large, especially with the earlier comics, like we're talking 70s and 80s, the message was one of, hey, look, we're all people at the end of the day. Let's try to understand each other, and there's going to be less fighting. Let's remember that we're people first, and then whatever labels get tacked onto us after that are just that. They're secondary. We're people first. Let's be people first. And after that, you can be a man or a woman, gay or bi or straight, left or right, white or black or brown, whatever. Like, we're people first. It was about inclusivity. We are people here, and remember what we are people, and include everyone in that group. Now it's all about decisiveness.
Well, now they use the word inclusivity, but not in the same way that. And that's
there is no inclusivity. The message is that
they use the word.
You must bow to whatever demands are made to you, and you are part of the in-group for now. Until maybe you get cast out as a needed sacrifice at some point, and if that happens, you're supposed to just go and accept your sacrifice here. But otherwise, if you just keep on acquiescing to whatever demands or whatever ideas you were told to parrot, you're okay for now. And if you dare disagree, you're the other.
Until your uselessness has has worn off.
It's absolutely disgusting. It's tribalism at its fucking worst, and it mirrors. Literally, every single you always wonder with some of these bad guys, and it's like they have this army of goons ready to go and rush the hero, and you're like, why do these guys even work for him? I bet their dental sucks and they don't get helped out. No, but you go and you tell someone ideologically, well, the hero, they don't like puppies. And the hero goes, what are you talking about? I have a puppy. He only has a puppy because he hates puppies, and so he keeps the puppy close to him so he can hate on puppies more. What? By the way, bear in mind, again, since we're already fucking ass deep in politics here, Bill Burr, he's a comedian. He also went and I think he had a role a couple of times on the Mandalorian TV show by Disney, Star Wars thing. He was being called a racist because some of his jokes pissed some people off. Bear in mind, his wife is black. They, according to everything seen, have a pretty healthy and good relationship with each other. They aren't arguing or fighting or anything like that. There were literally Facebook and Twitter posts saying that he only married his black wife so that he would have a black slave or some shit along these lines, and that just because someone has a black spouse or a non-white spouse doesn't mean they're not a racist, and they're really just I'm shitting you not. People were actually trying to fully make this argument that this person who again, as far as I've ever heard, they both have a good relationship. They both love each other.
Not like Arnold's
Like-
Terminator and his wife and the cleaning lady or any of those types of stories.
Yeah, I mean, there, as far as the news I've heard, because remember, it'd be a huge, especially too, since it seems like people were grasping at anything they could to throw at him. It would seem if there was anything to really grab at him, at least any low-hanging fruit there, it would have been readily brought up. But seems like they're just a regular couple. But that's the level of insanity we have these days. Where people will go, well, that healthy relationship you have with your wife,
Well, that's
it's
the thing,
not
that
why,
they
because I
canceling,
told
as they
you
call
so.
it, right?
What?
Like they call it canceling, right? Where it's like, if you
Yeah.
do something they don't agree with, then you get canceled and your entire life gets destroyed.
Any lies, any action taken to hurt the person is correct. And that's, as we've diatribed before, there is a difference between boycotting and canceling. If you have a boycott, you're just going, hey, I don't like this product. Here's why. I think you all should also not go and buy this product. That's a boycott. Canceling is where you go, hey, I don't like person, organization, company, whatever the case might be. Do anything and everything you can to hurt them. Stalk the workers, that the janitor who works there, stalk him and his family. Threaten, to throw vaguely threatening posts about his kids that you follow to school. It's all okay because you're going after a sanctioned target, and therefore the ends justify the means. Doesn't matter how ugly it is. That is canceling.
And it's that
Pretty fucking ugly.
Yeah, and it's that hive mind kind of lynch mob mentality.
Well, it literally is a lynch mob. It's the modern lynch mob. It's that you have people. Now, bear in mind, I'm a soldier. Part of me does go and want, that part of that animalistic high brain in the back of my head wants a justified enemy. Some group, something that, they are evil. And you're justified in doing anything and everything against them because, well, they're evil. And evil must be defeated, right? Because, and of course, in our heads, we're always the hero. We're always the good guy, right? Because what I think is logical. It's really not. We're all a mess of fucking emotions, myself included. And really illogical thoughts and stuff, myself included here. But
You, my friend.
part of, well, at least my cognizance is that I go, well, hey, wait a minute. I know that part of me. And bear in mind, too, and this also comes back to the fact that every single person, every single individual is capable of doing evil. And some of the worst evil is people who think that that the evil they're doing is for a good or justified cause. Case in point, as let me invoke Godwin's law here, the Nazis. Yep, we hit it. Some of them truly thought they were doing good.
Not just some of them.
Bear in mind, these
Obviously.
are still people. Like you, like me. Not exactly like us, of course, but they're still people.
Right,
They're still capable of taking two thoughts and stringing together wild loops of logic to go and justify why it's okay to go and gun this family down in the middle of a street. Well, because they're evil. I mean, look at some of the bullshit in the news today and how the news tries to go and point some people at other people and tell me that some of these guys would not welcome blood in the streets in a fucking civil war if they can control who's going after who. Someone would fucking revel in it. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. But that is why you gotta be able to go and say to that little part of your head that's looking for that excuse and go, hey, well, wait a minute. Hold on here. Stop and hit the brakes a fucking moment. Let's actually go and think about this here. Is what I'm being told even true?
Yeah, you know what that's
Is
called?
the
It's called
reaction I'm
thinking,
having justified?
Yeah, it's called
Many
thinking
cases
before
it's
you act. It's called using your noggin.
Mm-hmm. And I'll fully admit, haven't always done it. But
a lot of people don't either know how or just forgot how to use it.
Or don't want to. Because again, it's a seductive lie. Oh, well, I was told by such and such, whether it be your political leader whether it be a news organization or something else. It's a seductive lie that, oh, they said this person hates puppies, and who could possibly hate puppies? Therefore, they're evil, and I'm justified in burning their house down with their entire family in there. Their family's probably evil too, right? They probably kick puppies too. You start going down that fucking rabbit hole of not thinking for yourself and just accepting what anyone else tells you. Guess what? You're right on the fucking path of marching around goose stepping in those shiny black outfits. Think for yourselves, people.
Speaking of
Anywho, that was a weird turn. We got anything else?
NFTs, Microsoft
Hit
bullshit.
that one.
No, I think that's it.
Okay. So, don't fly like my co-pilot.
Like me.
Maybe.
Other co-pilots?
Only on Tuesdays. Why Tuesdays, you ask? Why not?
Tuesday? That's because Toro.
No. Are we still selling that barbecue sauce?
Wait.
You tell me. You're the one that set up the store.
We're selling barbecue. Oh, we had the sponsor thing.
Yeah, yeah. Is that still a thing or no? I have no idea, really.
We are, but I can check with them on there.
I'm just curious.
So now I need to get. It's good. But yeah, we still are a merch store. Definitely the best thing going for.
For all 2 people who bought it?
I'm one of them. Most of the stuff on there is just stuff I made for myself, and then decided, hey, we can sell this.
Yeah, cheeky breaky, suka ble.
Okay.
And yes, I'm aware my accent is terrible.
I actually took French.
The thing I really remember from French is Fermez la grande bouche s'il vous plaît. Which supposedly, if I didn't completely fucking butcher it, would mean shut your big mouth if you please. Yeah.
Drawing right. Directed. Also, like you.
How distracted are you?
You're honestly, you were speaking for both of us for most of this, because kind of the same mind.
Hive mind. Wait, what?
The opposite hive mind. 2 psychopaths.
Yeah, speak for yourself. Okay. I'm a cultist of the walking spaghetti monster. You've heard of the flying spaghetti monster. I'm starting a cult that's the walking spaghetti monster.
No. What's face? Call sign already got our club named Secret Squirrel.
But we ran out of squirrels.
Whose fault was that? You were supposed to pick up more. God damn it.
Look, they kept biting my hands. Not my fault. You're being mean.
I'm sure they wouldn't if you had a.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to.
Yes. Absolutely. Meanwhile, I'm still modding Fallout 4. So 723 mods in counting.
Only?
And I've still got a backlist to go and reintroduce here once I got to merge some down because I'm actually running out of plugin slots again. I did a merge Got that so that I was I had some more available, and then ran out of slots again because I kept installing shit. But so far, not bad. Oh shoot! I was gonna go. Fuck.
I wonder how many.
All of
Honestly, you
them.
know what? This is. I mean, we used to rant like this all the fucking times.
What are you talking about? We still do.
Yeah, well, exactly. Good. We were gone at the holidays. Oh, and speaking of holidays, it's Martin Luther King Day. In other words,
Yes.
the guy that essentially revolutionized how the world worked, freedom and all that rights movement, is probably doing enough RPM to power all of New York City right now. Just saying. A worthy holiday, but right now I don't think anyone is actually celebrating or
Hey, speak for
remembering it.
yourself. I work today.
Yeah, right. Well, I say celebrated, but I mean it's a holiday. It's not really a
Yeah.
holiday you celebrate. It's a holiday you remember. That's I I worked all last night. I haven't slept in a while. Days it.
There's days.
See, the Earth rotates. As it rotates.
No.
Oh, and it gets better.
This is a bucket.
But anyway, yeah, that's really it. Aside from all the bull. Just a quick recap. Like, NFT shit going on with the game. All the AAA games are going to be for Enix. Everyone like Sega was going to, but then they saw the backlash getting. You know what? We changed our minds. You know, Stalker was going to Stalker 2 was going to have it, and backlash caused them to rethink their strategy on it. Essentially, games as we knew it are pretty dead.
Nope.
Because you look at games today, and it's more just like, how can we nickel and dime the player further?
And also too, it's like I have no issue with like I've long said that if companies were to go and be like, hey, we're gonna go and increase the price of a video game, for fresh, AAA game company or AAA title, fresh off the presses here, and we're gonna go and charge like $80 being the new standard price, but no more
Egos would probably hate me
microtransactions
for
or any of
that,
that
but
bullshit. I'd be all for it. The problem is that the companies would never, ever, 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 ever hold up their end of the bargain, so to speak. It's, they would just be, I would argue, physically incapable of it. They can't.
no, I would agree. I mean, look at what we've seen.
Mm. Because every opportunity to go and rip people off and fuck people over. Surprise, surprise. People don't trust you.
Had it
Weird how
go.
that works, huh?
And that's the thing too. Like remember we covered the story a while ago. EA and Take-Two, I think Sony wanted to raise the price of games from 60 to 70. And keep in mind, if you charge a game for $80 in the US, that's 100. No one else. Who cares about Canada? But I mean, Julius is. Oh, he's a reason.
Wait, he is?
Yes, everything's his fault. Okay.
How could he be?
Just. The problem is, yeah, you can raising the money like for okay, game costs $70, right? But why is it so? Because you just want greedy, or is it actually better than what before that it warrants $70?
Well, especially these days when
Right, that's the thing.
we
it's
see from
not going to
companies
be.
half of the fucking price for video games. Like when they say the video game costs this much, half of that or more is marketing. Half of that is going and making their little cutscenes, making their commercials and buying the commercials and that kind of shit.
All the cinematic, correct, the CGI trailers and shit.
Well, I mean, not even bear in mind, like in-game trailers are one thing, but marketing, meaning just things like buying ad space or, like I said, making the commercials, making all the little ad campaigns, paying off the guy
Oh,
who
I know.
opens
But I'm
up
saying like
your
the money
Twitter
for
account.
the cutscenes and stuff too, like that. You mentioned that. But I was saying like that stuff also
But that's
costs money to make.
half their fucking budget. So bear in mind, and I don't go line by line on these, but I would imagine that budget is also including the salary of all of your fucking developers and coders and all that kind of shit. So the same money that they spent for what 4 years for all their developers making the game, all that kind of shit, they're spending on just fucking commercials or radio ads or those fucking mobile ads that pop up when you're trying to listen to Spotify or Pandora or whatever. That's where the money is going.
I mean, look, Halo Infinite had a budget of 500 million. The game, and look at the game,
Yeah,
actual game.
it's fucking shit as we were worried it was and as it turned out to be. Go fuck, and that's why it's funny too when people go, like, look, it's Star Citizen. What are we at? 400 million raised, and it's still not out. Well,
I was
sure,
looking
I'd
through
much
old
rather they take their
messages
time
I
and
sent
not
to
do a fucking
someone.
Halo Infinite.
I was looking through old messages I sent to someone, and I even made it at how like Fallout, because we were talking about Fallout, bashing on Star Citizen had more content at launch at the time that Fallout 76, let alone at the time we were arguing. The same exact argument for Halo Infinite. That's more content than Halo Infinite.
And that's the thing too, is it's like with so many of these products here, there's not even like there used to be a attempt of let's go and make at least a decent product here. Nowadays there's no even pretense of making of making barely any product, let alone a decent one. And it's just what can we shit out so that people will go and buy it. I mean, classic example. Look at every single game company that's gone and said they're gonna go and put NFTs in their game. Every single fucking one of them. They're trying to screw you over. They don't care about you as a person. They're caring about you as a fad. What are the kiddies all talking about? Cool, let's do that. 2 years ago it was all about Battle Royale. Now it's NFTs. Whatever the next hot thing is, they're gonna fucking try to throw it in there because they fucking can.
God damn it! What is with all the fucking bots? And thank you, MegaJetty1, for taking care of all the bots.
Because fuck you. But yeah, anywho. Dominator. But I barely know her. Yeah. Not surprised, just disappointed. And we'll keep talking about it until you all are fucking disgusted with us and all two of you leave. Hey, you remember when the internet was still a thing? Huh. Oh man. Those were the days. Now we just yell at each other on Discord. Don't blame Canada. Anywho, so how's our diatribe? Go eat popcorn, do stupid stuff, whatever. Anywho. If you can find a game that's fun. Huh.
Oh,
So Tetris?
yeah. Oh, I muted myself accidentally. Thanks for notifying me on that, MegaJetty. Terminator? I barely know her. See, we have a good audience. Striker. Sorry I was late dealing with the bots. Don't worry about it. You did a good job. The fact that we have someone dealing with the bots at all is already good.
But
yeah, go play. I think after this pretty heavy stream, we should all just have a good time and enjoy some games.
Or else?
At the end of the day, yeah, look, we're talking about how escapism is essentially dead or dying. Definitely a dying art, literally. In order to fix that, we have to make it
You will
ourselves.
destroy all humans.
Well,
Oh, wait,
destroy all
shit,
humans
not yet.
first.
Anywho. And that's why you should only buy from our verified cash store.
Cash store?
We got a merch store.
I mean, we do have a merch store, but there's actually stuff of value there. Get a fucking t-shirt or phone case. Stuff that you... First off, it's physical. Not digital shit. It's actual shit you have in your hands and wear.
Anywho.
There's already one over NFTs. And we control it, so I can make more. There's not enough, or if someone wants something unique there, I can go ahead and make it. There's another bot. Why can't I? Why are we so popular with the robots? Is Skynet like?
We said naughty things on the internet.
That's true. We said Nazis. The only thing we didn't say is sex and bully. Apparently, bully is a bad word too.
Now we're fucking canceled.
Apparently, bully is a bad word now on YouTube.
Everything's a bad word on YouTube.
I was about to say, at this point, tell us what isn't a bad word.
No. What it is, everything's a bad word on YouTube. So that way, if they like you, you're fine. If they don't like you, they have an immediate excuse to throw you out.
Right. Alright. That's my alarm telling me it's 8:55. So we should probably down soon. What? How long have we been going? Only 2 hours? Oh, I guess when you have like no Star Citizen topics, are long. I don't fucking. Time is relative. I've lost my sense of. I just realized I see. I'll definitely be putting a article this way, getting all of our information. But I highly recommend that you actually look for yourself, not look for yourself, like look. Hey, you want to know about a certain thing, right? A story or whatever it is. Do the research yourself. Yes, it's going to take effort. You have to read us, but it means you actually know what you're dealing with. Guessing or relying on other people. Not saying that you can't rely on other people. It's just that I don't know. Essentially, the best fact checker is yourself. Oh, I don't know, you got anything else?
Nope.
Cam? Yeah, NFTs are bad, stupid, immoral, and just fucking scummy, I guess, for lack of a better term. Disgusting, disturbing, annoying,
Pineapples?
bordering illegal. And we've got Microsoft's by free speech. Concerning. You played, say you were playing Halo Infinite and get banned in Halo Infinite for whatever reason, bullshit reason or legitimate. You are now banned across all platforms. That actually happens. Well, as my brother put
Pretty
it,
disgusting. Because also too, like I said,
gonna play.
I
no
can
customers.
guarantee you any kind of appeal would be a very hard thing to do. And on top of that, you're going to have people abusing their positions. You're going to have, I mean, already we see time and time again people abusing report mechanics. They got, oh, this guy fucking did whatever perceived slight, gets 10 of his friends to go and report the guy. Ah, sweet, I got him banned. Now imagine that you're banned completely out of your account now because some asswipe didn't like that you fucking went and stopped him from getting to play of the game or whatever the fuck. Come on. It's fucking childish at best and it's dictatorial at worst.
Like, it's also like, let's focus on banning, like, on punishment as opposed to, because like one of the article reads some stuff here. Well, first of all, at the end the article talks about previous examples, but at one point they talk about how they want to prevent, what was it, sexually, like sexual, because they're not talking about the games as specifically, like you're playing the online game. They're talking about like the platform, like if you're doing Xbox's like chat thing or whatever the hell it works, right? like, and to quote him, by the way, Phil Spencer from Xbox saying, "Something I would love us to be able to do. This is a hard one as an industry. When somebody gets banned in one of our networks, is there a way for us to ban them across all other networks? Or at least as a player, for me to be able to bring my banned user list, because I can always block people from my play. And I'd love to be able to bring them to other networks where I play. So this is a group of people that I choose not to play with. Don't want to have to recreate that in every platform that I play." It honestly sounds like just laziness, because it's not. Like, well, also, what are your chances that you're run to the same people in every game you play across different platforms? Like, this is where you're not thinking things through. And say you do run into this guy all the time, then each company is going to be banning him individually. You're not going to have to worry about this whole collective effort. The best part is this, and this is a quote as well. Asked about what steps Xbox is going to take to combat online harassment, Spencer told Swisher that in addition to improving their various reporting tools, the company was currently working on an AI that can, and in quotations here, can monitor the sentiment of a conversation and does a good job of kind of highlighting when a conversation is getting to a destructive point, end quote. To which the reporter pushed for his opinion on
that
similar
doesn't sound
steps being taken
toxic
by
as
other
fuck
companies.
at all, or worrisome.
That sounds like a fucking disaster waiting to happen.
I mean, not to mention too, just shit like, hey, by the way, you were having wrong think? Oh, can't have
Like the
that.
conversations that you and I have, you know, casually when we're just talking to ourselves, it's gonna, like, that would be banned. Another quote here. Areas where I think we need to continue to make progress, again, I being Phil Spencer here, when I think about video and pictures and our ability to detect what's happening in a video conversation, we don't have as much of that that happens on Xbox Live because it's not what it's about. But just as I think as an industry, voice conversations and how we do monitor, how we quickly monitor, that's an investment that we work, whatever. It's like, just, we need to work going on right now. A lot of work going on right now. It's like, yeah, essentially he wants you to be banned, get banned from one game, get banned from everything on everything. Every game on every platform. Right? That's essentially, which is, like, good. If you do that, you are never going to have a customer ever again.
No, you're going to have plenty until people start finding out that, what do you mean I'm getting banned? I thought only the bad people would get banned. Well, you are the bad people. What?
I just love the naivety of, like, instead of focusing on punishment, how about you focused on, oh, I don't know, the system itself, right? Like,
but it's so much funner to punish people randomly.
Like, because they're worried. Like, one of the things in the article notes is, like, worried about like sexual content or something, and it's like, or you can just,
like, it's not their fucking job to monitor for sexual content,
or either A, have monitors that do it, right, like professionals and not, like, you know, random people, or
whoa, you want to actually have us do work? Come on.
Or
fuck out of here with
you
that.
can, you know, not allow, like, just not allow that sort of content, right? Like, it's in the guidelines, you make it obvious that stuff isn't allowed, and if it is allowed, if it does get passed, then someone gets on it and takes care of it.
Get out of here, like, with your bullshit.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? You can't have it where, oh, we have to have everything be perfect and whatever, because all these companies, not just Xbox, but all these companies think, like, oh, they can do something and then they'll be foolproof. Nothing's foolproof. And no plan survives first contact. Whatever is going to happen, like, none of this is going to work. they think that, oh, well, this will deter them, right? Or this will do that. Good fucking luck. And they're just one of the examples that the article then lists. After all that, go on the quote. The article goes on saying, hypothetically, each platform holder would either need to moderate and review every single ban in order to see if a global ban would be applicable, as would likely be something like Apex Legends, which has yet again banned Japanese players for saying the Japanese word for run, which sounds a lot like euphemism and slur used for black people. The N-word.
Which, again, not surprised, still tipped, not surprised, but it's like, come on. It feels like they never even fucking think about this shit.
I mean, and that's the thing too, is like they're not thinking, they're only thinking in English. Like, for instance, in Hebrew, the word Kia, which is a car manufacturer, means vomit in Hebrew. Which is why in Israel, the Kia brand of cars is called Kaya. Because otherwise you're calling it vomit, which generally isn't a good thing.
I'm still offended though.
That's a minor example. There are other languages, as Japanese, obviously, N-word or a variation of the N-word means run. So if you're to say, I'm going to run to the supermarket, or I'm going to, I'm running to the location in the game, or whatever.
Look, the only possible
and apparently someone had been banned.
The only possible response is "Ree."
And then you have stuff like example in 2019, LGBT welcoming World of Warcraft guild Gay Boys, literally in quotations, it was called Gay Boys, was forced to change their name as a moderator told them it had been reported by other players for their guild name being offensive. It's not like they were calling it faggots.
Yeah, we're definitely banned on YouTube now.
I feel like when I see something saying Gay Boys, I feel like that's like advertisement. Like they're calling themselves that, not let's be offensive towards others. It's more inward.
But I'm always offended.
But everyone's offended by everything. Let's see.
Free ban.
Similarly, guild Make Azeroth Great Again was forced to change their name after facing their own storm of reports. However, though the player Hogblast replaced the G with a A or C, A, and then Hogblast, explained that the name was meant to be tongue-in-cheek, in quotations there. Moderators upheld their demand for the name change on the basis that other players had reported it as inappropriate. I mean, you can make it, I can see it being tongue-in-cheek and that, like, hey, make the game great again. There's, like, issues, because World of Warcraft suffered so many issues, various issues across the year in different...
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention the Reforged thing that they... Just the base version. Nonetheless, Twitch unveiled a similar proposal in April last year, in 2021, announcing that they would begin banning users for off-site and offline policy violations. And we covered this when the news dropped.
Yeah.
That was
and it's just like it's literally to me it seems it is literally suggesting
Orwellian.
that moderators go and stalk people, because really what it is, because bear in mind, as with any kind of tool or power or authority you give to someone, it will, mark my words, it will be misused. to my mind, because we've seen this stuff happen already, it's just giving moderators the option, or even as part of their job, they could argue that they are stalking people simply so they can go and say, well, why were you looking at this person's Facebook content or this content or that content? Well,
Oh
I
no, you
had
went
to
on an
go and
inappropriate
make sure they
website.
weren't a bad person. It's not your fucking job to go and police someone's life. It's literally suggesting that we, whatever company or corporation or whatever else, should be able to look fully into your life, into everything and anything you've ever done on the internet, which nowadays is your entire life, right? We should be able to go and stalk you on the internet, try
I
to pull up
apologize
any
for
piece
that.
of dirt we can, simply to go and punish you for having wrongthink. It's disgusting as fuck. It's creepy as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and yeah, exactly that. Like, you're gonna have people that are just gonna be looking for a reason.
I mean, as we've seen with Trump, like him or hate him or whatever else, we've clearly seen people going and trying to find anything possible they can to throw at him. And when it's quite literally in law that you are not supposed to be going and trying to find a crime to prosecute. If you have evidence of a crime, gather information and go from there. But as we've seen, that is very often not the case. Very often we see someone goes and says, well, I don't like this person. Well, it doesn't matter that you like them or not. You don't have to like them. They don't have to like you. Welcome to the real world. Welcome to being an adult. You aren't going to agree with everyone. But that does not give you carte blanche, as some people think it does, to go and stalk people and try to hunt them down in order to go and punish them simply because you want to punish someone. That's not how this is supposed to be, and it's pretty fucked up that some people try to do that kind of shit.
I mean, yeah, it's, you should
Creepy.
never be
Don't do
doing
that
that
shit.
shit. Ever. You should not be looking for problems. People are in.
I mean, it's quite literally a solution in search of a problem in many of these cases. And this shit's gonna go and be misused, gonna be abused, as it has proven to have happened already. It's like, and like I said, with any of this kind of stuff, my first thought is always, if someone who hated your guts, and I oftentimes use this in terms of the government, because as we've seen, government powers have also been misused in all kinds of interesting and non-legal ways.
Big OSHA recently.
But anytime you want to get, people are like, oh, well, the government should be able to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, whatever the case might be. Okay, fair enough. But that being said, whenever you're thinking of handing the government a new power or new ability to force people to do something, one, bear in mind, any power the government has is done through threat of violence. Like that's quite literally when the government makes a law, they're saying that you will do this. If we find out you're not doing this, sure, we might go and throw a fine at you. We might go and prevent you from accessing certain services, but they could also go and throw you in jail, and they could also kill you. And this shit's happened before. Now, yes, that is on the extreme end. However,
The fact that it's
especially
an end
as
nonetheless.
well, and as extreme as we've seen people becoming, especially in recent years here, I think it's a very fair warning to go and be like, hey, this can be an issue. Duh. So if you're ever thinking of, hey, should the government have X, Y, or Z power. Just imagine, give that power now to whatever political side you might be on. Give that same power now to the person you hate most on the opposite side of the political spectrum, and imagine they are going to try to use that to hurt you. Do you still think it's a good idea for the government here and now to have this if this person that you hate is also going to get this power? If you're saying no, it's not a good idea, don't fucking vote for it. Right?
And again, the reason why we're talking about this sort of stuff, gaming thing, is because it's the same problem in any case, the lack of accountability.
Well, and yeah, because who is going to go and sit there for Microsoft or PlayStation or anyone else saying, well, hey, Microsoft said that such and such person was bad for whatever reason. You know, they were naughty on Xbox. Who's going to go and verify? Who's going to go and look over their shoulder and go, were they bad? Anyone? No one.
It's and look, at the end of the day, we know that it's going to be exactly like YouTube, that they're going to delegate all this shit to a bot. That's
Which, and we've seen how good those have been, right?
And those never fail.
That's why I'm always worried about
AI overlord.
Well, just we've seen time and time again AI fucked up.
Yeah, I mean it's incompetent.
Oh, absolutely. And people are like, "Oh, it's such a great idea. It's so innovative." It's like,
no, it's
not,
lazy.
Not really. It's really not.
You know, like you make the argument, you know, the jokes like, "Oh, they take their gerbs," right? I mean,
well, I mean, like,
but the humans more
my
competent.
previous
Give
job,
them back their gerbs.
well, like at my previous job where I was doing government tech support,
Right.
they tried to go and replace us tier 1 support with a bot. They were like, oh, we'll have this bot go and do like account unlocks. And after about 2 years, so bear in mind they were on a 3-year contract, and they had promised the organization that, oh, we're going to go and have a bot within 3 years that's going to go and do all this wonderful stuff. And after a year, now bear in mind also too, the company that did this, that had this contract, had never done IT work at all, had never made an AI before, but whatever, they got the job. Okay. But that being said, okay, they've got the job. Cool. All right. And after a year of fucking around, they were like, oh man, making a bot is fucking hard. Okay, well, let's go and grab something off the shelf here and we'll make it be able to do IT work. Okay.
In other words, let's let laziness win the day.
Well, and it's like okay,
to cut costs.
Potentially you might have something here,
but
so they go out
because this way they don't have to pay people.
Well, exactly. But so they go out and they go and try to go and make this AI. So now we're 2 years in, and they fail. They have, after the end of that 2 years, they go and have a bot that can make an empty ticket in our system, and that's it. They can attach a name to it, but it can't fill in any kind of details whatsoever. It can't go and actually send the ticket anywhere that it would need to go. It cannot do any of the things it has to. Now, bear in mind, at this point, they're, of course, panicking because they're going, well, shit, we promised these guys a fucking AI after 3 years, and if we don't deliver, we're fucking out of the job. So they go and force the bot onto our phone system simply so they can go and point to something and go, well, we're in the works, give us more time, some shit like that. So they do so. And so at that point, bear in mind the bot was being forced on us was causing quality to drop down ridiculously low, because now for people to talk to a person, you had to wait about an hour before you could talk to a person. And even then, we would then have to go and find the empty ticket that was made, and then have to go and fix it. Have to go and get all the information, put it in there, which was taking even more time on our end than just making one from scratch. So that goes on for a little bit. And then due to that and a bunch of other bullshit that was going on, they ended up just squandering their budget to the point of they had to let go every single contractor on this contract. There were about 20 of us there. Like, we got to let you all go in 2 weeks. Bye. We're all out of the job. Well, found other work. Then find out from one of my buddies was not a contractor but a direct employee. He was staying on there, and found out that, hey, surprise, they went and after another couple of months there, they went and scrapped the AI and just said, we're just not doing it. But as part of that, they lost 20 contractors. The actual people who are working there are not going to go and trust anyone for the IT support. They're not going to trust the IT support at all, because they're like, why should you? Every time I wanted to call, I had to wait over an hour for practically a year. I had to wait over an hour, and even when I got through, I had to fuck around with this fucking AI thing. I had to screw around with that for another half hour. Then I could talk to a person, and now and then oh surprise, you called us up and really you needed another help desk. You called us up for something that's not in our purview and some other organization handles that. You wasted an hour and a half just to talk to us, just for us to go and say, sorry, we're really sorry about that. We can't really help you. Go talk to these other guys. I had conversations like that because people would call up tech support for anything and everything, but yeah, good times. Anywho, are we still fucking recording?
I think so. We should probably just call it because we're just ranting.
Yeah, we should have called it like an hour ago.
Yeah. All right.
No one's listening to our rambling now.
Seriously, I feel bad for anyone watching us.
Like, if nothing else, I could be streaming Fallout or something, but
yeah.
Then again, that's way too crash happy, even as is.
Oh, how many times have you crashed right now?
I mean, well, honestly, I've been working on some mods on the side, but really the biggest issue with my game right now, like the biggest issue I have, or I should say most common issue I have, is that when I start the game, and I'm assuming it's just like a memory allocation issue or some shit, but when I start the game, like it could take like 3, 4, 5 times for the game to actually load the main menu without crashing. Because I think it's just there's so much information that has to be loaded that half the time it just can't handle it and it just crashes.
Okay.
Which, I mean, fair enough, but it really makes it annoying just trying to just trying to load the game. It's like, load it. Okay, and then wait a minute and a half, and then it crashes. Okay, let's load it again. Okay, loads. Minute and a half, and then it crash. 2 or 3 more times maybe, and then okay, now I can actually load my game and actually do what I wanted to do here.
Nothing.
Pain in the butt.
And you'll have to blame Canada. That's it.
Well, yeah.
That's the answer. Canada launched the nukes. Anyway.
I knew it. Those fucking bastards. It's because they wanted my delicious barbecue sauce.
Oh,
I
you
only
know,
say barbecue sauce because on one of the other servers, apparently I have become associated with barbecue sauce.
okay. Would you like a hat?
Mostly because mostly just because I made it a non sequitur where I'd just be like, so anyway, there I was, barbecue sauce on my titties. It's
I
enough
mean,
to stall a conversation if it's going weird,
hey, I mean
or make the
that's a
conversation
pretty
weird at
good
that point,
conversation opener. Not gonna lie.
or closer. You know, one or two.
I mean, here's a better one. You are no longer used to me. The better conversation.
What is?
You're no longer of any use to me.
I mean, that's usually when the plasma pistols come out and people start trying to kill you.
How do you know?
I
I'm not kidding.
I promise, Lord Vader, it won't happen again. I know.
The bots, attack of the bots. All right.
Bow, bow,
Measure
bow,
one,
bow,
get
bow.
TechCom out
Bullshit,
here.
copyright. I would laugh if like me just doing that copyright strike.
On what?
Me doing like dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah, we definitely get a strike for that. Sure.
Because
Hell,
YouTube's a
aren't you not
fucking
allowed?
asshole.
Aren't you not allowed to sing Happy Birthday or some shit?
Huh?
The birthday, the birthday song, Happy Birthday song, copyrighted.
That's fucking bullshit.
I mean, it's been that way for decades. Like that's why in all these movies and stuff, they never actually sing the real song.
Yeah, they just be like, yay, happy birthday.
It's your I'm pretty sure Futurama did a funny version, being Futurama.
Well, I mean, then again, they're making a mockery of everything. I miss Futurama. There was some new show that like the same like creators made. It was like a
It was like
medieval kind of thing,
it was like a
but
fantasy version, right?
yeah, I don't know. It felt like it didn't have the same panache. And part of it is, of course, too, that with Futurama, we have years of successful stuff backing it up. But I don't know. It just doesn't pull me in the
Like it's
same way.
become a cult classic by the years gone by.
Yeah, we're fucking old, Mando.
I'm just if it's fantasy, you're kind of so.
You don't like fantasy?
I mean, look, you can get the big.
Sorry, saying you don't like Skyrim?
I'll get the
Traitor!
reality. You get the. Well, I think that was a mashed joke. Unmashed, it's like, reality's up for grabs. One man's reality is another man's fantasy. All right, I'll grab the fantasy. You get the reality. Two girls walk by.
Is that how that works?
Is now.
Oh no!
Oh yeah. I wonder if that's copyrighted. Freaking Kool-Aid Man. Oh, no.
Well,
oh
fuck.
no! Oh no! Oh yeah!
Life is copyrighted. I'm gonna have to start charging.
I can't say all the stuff on the store is copyrighted.
Comrade has been copyrighted by Russia. Pay up 25 cents.
Yeah, right.
Which is why we say tovarish, not comrade, tovarish.
Still can't believe that I've made the internet. Use it for more than porn.
Or else we're gonna find you, or we're gonna sit there and judge you. Not even silently judging, just gonna judge you.
We're just gonna make cracks of it. Like, oh, I can't believe you're wearing that shirt, those pants. Oh man. What was it like? Alien? Airplane?
I have not seen Airplane. Ironically enough, I was talking to my boss about Airplane the other day, but I have not seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a scene in Airplane where
just one.
This the wife of the captain comes in, and then the guy goes, like, then she's not sure if her husband's alive, and then like, oh my god, that shirt, that blouse with those shoes, oh my, like the guy just starts critiquing, just starts losing. I miss Zucker Brothers. Apparently he did this whole article on.
Then improve your aim. Ha ha.
On like how everything we've said in the last few escapists. Like the solution's easy though. We just have to kill the minority that's vocal about all this shit. There's the
Problem
second
was,
virus
we
I
decided
missed.
a while ago that killing people simply for having bad ideas was a bad thing.
Right. But the thing is, he's a comedian.
Especially because so many people would judge us for having those same bad ideas.
Right. But the Zucker brothers, airplane, top secret, police.
Zucker, but I barely know her.
The Zucker, God damn it, what was the Naked Gun trilogy?
Again, I barely know her, and I sure as hell wouldn't want to be like Mark Zuckerberg toward her.
Oh no, don't be. You know, what is he? Is he a fucking android or is he a fucking lizard man?
He's a lizard android.
The lizard android. There he is. We've cracked the secret, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Say what you will, and I don't like ragging on people about their appearance. Because I mean, honestly,
Oh
come
no,
on.
I'm
We're sitting here. We're a bunch of fucking nerds. It's not like we're fucking supermodels here, but still.
Oh my god, no.
It's somewhat rather ironic that the wax look-alike of Mark Zuckerberg looks more human-like than Mark Zuckerberg.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's.
I'm not surprised, but I haven't seen it. Really?
It's if you Google like Mark Zuckerberg wax statue.
Do I want to?
It looks more human than Mark Zuckerberg. At least with some photos. I'm sure the guy looks perfectly fucking normal most of the time here, but somewhat ironic.
I think it's just a lack of facial expression.
At some point,
you know what I mean?
he doesn't.
All the images that I've seen of him, just he looks the same. I think that's why. Like me, it's just like he doesn't look like he can show. He looks like he has all the emotion of a wooden plank, or all the range of emotions of a wooden plank.
Okay, hey, first of all, I watched Ed, Edd n Eddy. I remember Plank, and I'm really offended that you're trying to say Plank didn't have emotion. Just
what about
mild?
Eddie, what about the Tick? The Tick had a little wooden boy, and he had a lot of emotion. The wooden boy died a hero. A wooden boy, no. By the way, what happens when superheroes go insane? Well, it's not insane when they're just morons. Oh, yeah, merch on the screen, links in the description.
We're greedy capitalists. Buy our shit.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not an opportunist. Look, we're doing this thing, and other people.
Wait. So you're saying we're gonna sell NFTs here soon?
Oh my god! What the hell NFT would we even sell? How would we even go about
the fucking cat logo thing? Oh god! Run before it infects you all too.
Help us. Oh man. Remember, it can always be worse. It'll all be in later hosts. Chris isn't here.
I should note, so the whole like don't fly like my co-pilot, I'm stealing that shtick. So there was way back when I was a wee young lad, oftentimes when I would be driving anywhere with my dad, you know, if we were going on day trips, because we'd go all over the place. I've probably been to 35 states at least in the U.S. here. My whole family, like all of us together, have been to approximately 40 states. You know, I should say so. So dad, mom, brother, sister, me being the brother. But there was this radio show called Car Talk, and it was because my dad's a big car guy,
I remember Car Talk.
and so and as part of their shtick, they would be like, don't drive like my brother. They'd be like, don't drive like my brother. So I've stolen that, don't fly like my co-pilot. Because who knows what might happen.
No, bad jokes aside, and good jokes.
Anywho, I'm gonna go and jump out here.
Yep, and I'm gonna shut down. But anyways, I hope you guys all at least found us. I don't even know if you made it this far into. Congratulations.
I'm sorry. First of all, I'm sorry. Second of all,
and yeah, I'm sorry. Wait, all right, I'm just gonna end it. Okay, no outro, no whatever. Just nice. Link is in the description for all the shit that gets us money and gets you reached shit in exchange for money, as the video game companies would put it. No, you're earning it, by earning a paycheck at your job and then paying for it. Anyway, NFTs are just scams and bullshit. Well, they're not bullshit. They exist and they're crappy.
no, it can be real and still be a scam.
Yeah. But
Look at pyramid schemes.
Yeah. No.
Hey, do you want me? Do you want to buy my Avena products?
Because it's
talk about a fucking
it's
scam.
real. It's not existent. I said it. Anyway, yeah, it's real. It's shit. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. Crap.
It's a tarp.
It's a carp. Yeah. That really. Oh, also, Microsoft. If Phil Spencer had his way, no one can be playing any.
Nope.
That's why PC Master Race. Anyway.
Hey.
Exactly. There's your answer. All right. On that note, we are out of here.
Ironically enough, I actually hang out a lot in the PC Master Race Discord server.